I remember the moment when I first had the idea to turn my younger brother into my sister. It was the night my father left. He was a bad man, a mean drunk, and when my mother told him she'd filed for divorce, he hit her. I heard her crying on the kitchen floor and called 911. The cops asked us what happened and took him away in handcuffs. That was the last time I saw him. He went to jail, and I hope he never gets out. After the police left that night, I did my best to comfort my traumatized mother. Lee, my younger brother, was no help at all. He hid in his room during the whole thing. I was the one who had to tiptoe downstairs and open the door to the cops while keeping an eye out for Dad. Okay, I was 4 years older, but Lee could have been man enough to at least try to help me. He wasn't, and didn't. After the cops took Dad away, I thought for the first time Lee would be better off as a girl. I knew all about being a girl, because I was one. I was also a jock. Physically, I took after my dad. I'd just graduated from East High School, where I played point guard on the girls' basketball team. My name is Violet, so of course my team nickname was Violent. Like Caitlin Clark, I had long dark hair, but the resemblance pretty much ended there, and I had no hope of an athletic scholarship. My plan was to go to State U and become a dental hygienist. Lee, on the other hand, was biologically male, but he was a total wimp. Took after Mom. For years younger than me, still a kid, short, skinny, no visible sproutings of manhood yet. He just finished middle school and was due to enter East High this fall. I knew he wouldn't like it. East was an athletic powerhouse where football and basketball ruled supreme. A runt like Lee, whose idea of a sport was chess, was sure to be the butt of bullies' crude jokes and outright harassment. On the other hand, if he was a girl, other boys wouldn't physically pick on him the way they did. They wouldn't shove him into a bank of lockers, or trip him on the stairs, or call him a fag and threaten to kick his ass. Of course, boys had plenty of other ways to harass girls, I don't need to list them, but they were more humiliating than outright violent. More important, if Lee was a girl, he wouldn't grow up to be like his dad. He was about to start turning into a man, and Mom and I didn't want another male around the house. Men were stupid and dangerous. How lovely it would be to live in an all-female household, nicer, cleaner, more fragrant than a house with a man in it. Men were pigs. At least my dad and his friends were. But how could you turn a 14-year-old boy into a girl? Especially if he showed no sign of wanting to be one. I made spaghetti for dinner that night so that Mom wouldn't have to cook. As we ate, I checked out Lee across the kitchen table. His hair was almost as long as mine, which was one reason boys hassled him, and he had a feminine way of tucking it back behind his ears to keep it from falling over his face. Skinny shoulders. No muscles to speak of. A cute little dimpled chin and delicate facial features. In makeup and a dress, maybe with bangs across his forehead, he'd be cute. Cuter than me, anyway. At 5 feet 9 inches, 175 centimeters, I was too tall to be considered cute except by guys over 6 feet, who didn't particularly appeal to me. Could I possibly convince Mom to turn Lee into a girl? I knew right away we couldn't do it if he went to East High. No matter how cute he might be as a girl, kids would know who he was, and they'd make his life unbearable. He'd get harassed, beaten up, maybe even raped. Another school? There was St. Thomas Aquinas, the Catholic school, but we weren't Catholics and it was co-ed, so there would still be boys willing to beat up anyone they thought was trans. I didn't think Lee was, but he kind of came across that way. There weren't any private girls' high schools in our area. I did a little research online. Top-tier girls' schools like Emma Willard School in New York State were too posh, too expensive, and too far away. Oh. So what if Lee stayed at home? Mom had been a teacher until he was born, and now she no longer had to work for a living. She got everything in the divorce settlement, including the house, the bank accounts, and my father's 49% share of O'Leary Sand and Gravel. Mr. O'Leary was happy to buy out her share on generous terms. When the dust settled, Mom was maritally and financially independent. She would have time on her hands. Could she homeschool Lee? Ooh, I love this idea. Pull Lee out of public school and teach him at home, where there would be no nasty males to humiliate him or beat him up or influence his behavior. He'd be safe and totally under Mom's control, and she and I could make him do, or wear, whatever we wanted. How could I get Mom to agree? I could play on her fear that Lee was in danger of following in his father's footsteps. We didn't want another man in our house, becoming bigger and stronger and more aggressive as time passed. We needed to curb any masculine instincts in him. Keep him soft and gentle. Yes. Keep Lee at home, dress him as a girl, and prevent him from growing up like his father. I had a vision of Lee dressed as a schoolgirl, in a cute little plaid skirt and a crisp white blouse. He'd need to wear panties and a padded bra, and he'd need a trip to the salon for hair, nails, and makeup. Oh, and pierced ears. What fun it would be to dress him up, and do his hair, and make him wear lipstick. For some reason, the idea of Lee as a girl made me moist inside my panties. We'd have to rename him. No more Lee. Instead, how about Lisa? Similar, but totally feminine. My little sister, Lisa. It'd be so awesome. Now, how to convince Mom? A month later, after the divorce was final and we purged the house of Dad's junk, I talked to Mom about Lee's situation. I'm worried about Lee going to East High, Mom, I said. Why? Because other boys will pick on him, I said. He's small, weak, kind of effeminate. He'll get beaten up. She didn't answer right away. I know what you mean, she said. Boys picked on him in middle school. High school could be worse. I'm not sure what to do. Have you thought about homeschooling him? Her eyebrows rose. Not really. Now that you've quit your day job. Mom had been an admin for an old-school law firm and regularly complained about what sexist assholes the male partners were. I suppose I could homeschool him. It'd keep me from rattling around the house. And yes, it might be safer for, well, a boy like him. It'd be cheaper than private school, right, Mom? A lot, yes. And, well, I wouldn't want him at St. Thomas Aquinas either. The guys there are probably just as bad, I said. It's another big football school. I'll have to think about this, she said. We could use your father's home office as a schoolroom, with a computer, a whiteboard, and bookshelves. Can we redecorate it, Mom? I asked. Get rid of the sports posters, the Miss Building Supplies calendar, the neon beer sign, that stupid little basketball net for crumpled up balls of paper. She rolled her eyes. All of it. Let's repaint it, too. Light mauve with white trim. The next day, Mom sat down with Lee in the kitchen and talked to him about school. I stayed in the living room but was able to overhear most of their conversation. You mean I'd stay here and not have to go to school? Lee said. Yes. I'd teach you. I was a teacher before you were born, you know. Yeah. That sounds great, Mom. But wouldn't it be easier for me to go to East High? Would you be happy there? Well, not from what Violet tells me. All they care about is sports. Lots of big guys who like to hassle little guys. That's right. You shouldn't have to worry about your physical safety at school. I joined a fake book group, East Time Moms, and they talk about a gang at school that likes to make life miserable for kids who aren't like them. Kids like you. I know, Lee said. I knew about those guys. There were mean girls, too. They never bothered me. I was a starter on a varsity team. But I didn't want them to get their hands on Lee. We could handle this another way, Mom said. You could take self-defense classes. Aikido, or Taekwondo, or whatever. Learn to handle anyone who lays a hand on you. A pause. I don't think I could. I mean, I'm not very big. Martial arts are a way to compensate for your size, she said, but you do have to work at them, and it takes time. It's like learning a musical instrument. You have to enjoy it, and you have to practice. I don't think I'd enjoy it, he said. Even if I practiced, I wouldn't be ready to do anything by September. Maybe it's just as well, she said. I don't want you to learn how to use force to get your way. That's what your father did. I don't want you to grow up to be like him. Don't worry, Mom. I don't want to, he said. I'd rather be me. Mom didn't ask Lee who me was. I wished she did. I wondered who Lee was inside. I was pretty sure he wasn't gay. Shy, though a passive introvert. Was he, by any chance, the kind of boy who would be willing to wear his older sister's hand-me-downs? Silly to think it. How many boys were like that? Still, it would be fun, and he would be a doll. Well, then, Mom said. Should I start the paperwork to homeschool you this fall? Yes, please, Lee said. I smiled. Step 1 toward getting a little sister, maybe. Step 2 was turning the home office into a schoolroom. We got rid of all of my father's junk, painted, hung a whiteboard, and moved Lee's computer into the room. Good, because now he couldn't watch nasty porn in his room at night. I saw his browser history once. Maybe I could find some nicer porn for him instead, with girls or boys in frilly lingerie and fluffy dresses, like Japanese girls in Lolita costumes. I imagined Mom giving him girly homeschool assignments, like an essay on why panties were better than boxers, or a report on the history of bras. Step 3 was doing the homeschooling paperwork to take Lee out of the public schools. Mom took care of that. Step 4 was giving Lee some friends who weren't boys. I started to take care of that. I invited a few of my girlfriends and their younger sisters, kids closer to Lee's age, to a mixed-ages sleepover at our house. Sasha, Rebecca, Maria and her little sister Carmen, and Madison and her little sister Courtney. The older girls were bemused by the idea of such a tween thing to do, but happily said they'd come. I invited Lee, too. No way, he said. I'm not going to go to a girls' sleepover. Courtney and Carmen will be there, I said. You think they're cute, right? It won't be just girls my age. Yeah, but you'll be doing girly stuff, he said. Games and makeup and whatever. Talk, talk, talk. Don't worry, I said. I won't make you do anything you don't want to do. No makeup, no braiding your hair, though it's long enough. But we're going to have pizza and popcorn and chocolate chip cookies and Doritos. If you want party food, you have to come to the party. We'll wear nighties, but you can wear your pajamas, and a robe if you want. We'll watch a fun movie. Which one? He asked. If it's a chick flick. Actually, no, I said. A sci-fi comedy. Have you ever seen Galaxy Quest? He shook his head. It's a fantastic spoof of Star Trek. With Alan Rickman, who played Professor Snape in the Harry Potter movies. Lee loved Harry Potter when he was 7 or 8. Oh, okay. With fresh-baked cookies. We girls will do all the work. You just have to help us eat them. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach, they say, and it's true for boys, too. In a few more minutes I talked Lee into coming to my sleepover, after telling him I wouldn't make him join any activities that he thought were too girly. I won't make you play with makeup, I said, crossing my fingers behind my back. But you'll get to see 7 girls paint their faces and fingernails and play with each other's hair. If I was a guy, I would think that'd be cool to watch. Lee blushed. I could tell he liked the idea, but he was too embarrassed to admit it. I didn't push him any further. I promptly had a video chat with the girls who would be at the sleepover to let them know Lee would be there, and to plot ways to involve him in the fun. I told them I'd promised not to make him do girly stuff, but I hadn't promised to keep my friends from making him do girly stuff. Sure, we can make him pretty, Sasha said. Dress him up, too? Rebecca asked. Absolutely, Madison said. You think he'd like it? Maria asked. I'm sure he'd say no, I said. But boys lie a lot. Who knows? In the right mood, he might play along. I told the girls that they should bring makeup and their sexiest sleepwear. If you really want to make him pretty, you need to set a tempting example, I said. What will he wear? Courtney asked. I told him he could wear his pajamas. I could lend him mine, she said. I think he's just my size. They're soft pink satin, very comfy. The other girls loved this idea, and we arranged for me to pick them up from her. We'll launder them afterwards, I said. Or let him keep them, Courtney said. If he looks cute in them. Sure, if you can talk him into it. We will, Madison said. I smiled as we ended the chat. Perfect. It was their idea now, not mine. On Saturday, Mom and I went shopping and picked up 2 frozen pizzas, some microwave popcorn, a box of chocolate chip cookie mix, 2 large bags of regular Doritos, and a case of Diet Coke. Carbs, fat, salt, sugar, and caffeine. Perfect sleepover food. I had to decide what to wear for the first part of the evening, before we changed into nightwear. To impress Lee, I'd asked the girls to wear dresses. As the hostess, I had to make an effort, so I chose the sleeveless sky blue silk sheath dress I had worn to graduation. I showered, moisturized, and put on panties, matching bra, thigh-high stockings, and a lace-trimmed slip. I wanted to look totally natural but alluring tonight, so I spent half an hour on my makeup. I let my long hair fall straight from a center part. When finally satisfied with the face in the mirror, I slipped into my dress in 2-inch heels, prepared to be cute but uncomfortable until we all decided to change into our nighties. I checked on Lee. He was wearing his ratty jeans and a Nirvana t-shirt. Oh, no, I said. Please, you've got to dress up a bit for my guests. What do you mean, dress up? Chinos instead of jeans. A buttoned shirt instead of that grungy tee. Oh, and hard shoes. And dark socks. What a hassle! Why? Because the girls are going to look nice, and you don't want to look like something the cat coughed up on the carpet. What am I supposed to do later, when you change into your night things? Change into your pajamas and feast your eyes on our beauty, I said. I won't make you play any of our games, unless you want to. The food sounds fun, he said. And I saw that Galaxy Quest has a 90% rating on Rotten Rutabagas. You'll get to see pretty girls at play, too, I said. Just be a total gentleman and don't do anything crude or macho. Okay, he said. It's just weird that you invited me. I mean, this is an all-girls party, right? Except for me? I didn't think girls invited boys to sleepovers. Don't be sexist, I said. You're my brother. I leaned over and kissed him on the cheek, just to keep him off balance. I can invite anyone of any gender to my party, it's not necessarily just for girls. We're going to have fun, and you can enjoy it, too. Did he? I think he did. I know the rest of us did. All of my friends showed up, and the party went pretty much as planned. They all wore cute dresses, like I asked. Later on, they all changed into sexy nightwear, like I asked. They all brought makeup, nail polish, and hair ornaments, like I asked. And yes, they succeeded in getting Lee to dress up and endure a makeover. He was so cute. But I'm getting ahead of myself. First, we had dinner. Frozen pizzas popped into the oven. Then we played games Two Truths and a Lie and Project Runway, where we played ooh la la music while each of the girls strutted around the room in the dress she was wearing. The other girls coaxed Lee into joining the games. For Project Runway, I made him put on a jacket and tie, which of course drew cheers and whistles from the girls. After the games, we got ready to watch the movie. We baked cookies from a mix that included a little packet of chocolate chips and popped a bunch of popcorn in the microwave. While the cookies were baking, we girls changed into our nightwear, the cutest things in our closets. Baby doll nighties with fancy panties, or pretty nylon negligées, or chaste cotton nightgowns trimmed with ribbons and lace. Lee waited in the kitchen while we all changed, and took the cookies out of the oven when they were done. When I had changed into my pale lavender waltz-length nightgown, I fetched him from the kitchen up to my room. The other girls want you to change, too, and they brought some nice pajamas for you to wear, I said, pointing to my bed. On the bed lay the pair of pajamas I'd borrowed from Courtney, Madison's younger sister. A pink satin top and bottom with long sleeves and legs. No lace or ribbons or other decorations, but the fabric, cut, and color were unmistakably feminine, and the top buttoned backwards from boys. The pajamas looked like they'd fit Lee perfectly. Are you kidding? I'm not going to wear that. Lee said. It's not my idea, it's what the other girls want, I said. They're dressing up for you, so they told me they want you to dress up for them. It's not like it's a nightgown. They're just pajamas. Girls' pajamas, he said. I'm not a girl. Courtney said you're kind of an honorary girl tonight, I said. They're letting you join a girls' sleepover at the very least, you can wear a pair of girls' pajamas. It would be polite to the others. It'd show you're a good sport, which is a very manly thing to be. You said I wouldn't have to do anything like this, he said. I told them I wouldn't make you do it, but they absolutely insisted, I said. If you refuse, they'll think you're afraid. I'm not afraid. I just don't want to look like a loser. Oh, you think girls are losers? Of course not. But boys who dress as girls are cute, I said. Come on, show them you're willing to play along. They'll think you're a loser if you don't. Can I at least keep on my underwear? He asked, blushing. Not really, I said. Boxers are too bulky to wear under the pajamas. Here's a pair of briefs you can wear. I held them up. A plain white pair of my viscose briefs with no lace or other feminine decoration. Those are women's, too, he said. They're unisex, I lied, and they'll give you a nice, clean line under the pajamas. Super comfortable, too. No one will see them. Come on, get changed. Not in front of you. You can change in your room. I picked up the female garments, followed him to his room, laid them on his bed, and left. Waited in the hall for 5 minutes and knocked on his door. Who is it? He sounded nervous. Me. I opened the door, stepped inside, and closed the door behind me. Lee was wearing Courtney's pajamas. Oh my God, he was so cute in pink. I glanced at his crotch and was pleased to see no boxers bulge. I could make out a faint panty line when he turned. Good. Lee. You look great. He looked incredibly cute, but I remembered not to use a feminine adjective. I feel ridiculous, he said. I put them on just to see how they looked, but I don't want to go to the sleepover. I don't want girls to see me like this. Oh, Lee. They'll love you. Don't worry, you don't look like a girl. Another lie. You look like a young man who's secure enough in his masculinity to humor the whims of us silly females. A perfect gentleman. That color is ideal for your complexion, by the way. Really? Really? Relax. They've all seen you dressed as a guy. They'll totally accept you like this. They'll see that you've gone out of your way to please them. We'll have fun watching the movie, and after a while no one will notice how you're dressed. I could tell my blather was weakening his resolve. Come on, I said. Be brave. Let's go downstairs. He let me lead him down to the kitchen, where the other girls were gathered. Happy shrieks greeted his appearance. Oh, my God, he's gorgeous. Lee, you're so cute. Way better than boys' pajamas. Welcome to the club, Lee. Sasha chose that moment to take things to the next level. He needs makeup, she cried. My guests grabbed their makeup kits and dragged Lee into the bathroom. He tried to object, but the girls easily overcame him and took turns applying makeup to his face. Foundation, powder, eyeliner, eyeshadow, mascara, blush, lip liner, lip gloss, the whole works. The girls did his hair in pigtails with pink bows. The poor guy obviously had given up, and put up no more resistance other than pleading glances in my direction. I gave him a shrug, as if to make him understand it was out of my hands. It wasn't a word from me would have stopped the other girls. But he didn't need to know that. I felt like I should feel sorry for my brother and make them stop, but I didn't. I loved it. Lee in makeup. After which the girls did their own faces, and posed with him for selfies. I wanted to stop them, but knew it was impossible. They all had phones. When the photos got on social media, as they surely would, they would make him a social outcast at East High. Homeschooling would be his safest choice now. Rebecca spoke up. Nail polish. No. Lee cried. The girls squealed and quickly reenacted the whole makeup drama. Madison held down Lee's wrists and made him spread his fingers. With quick but smooth brush strokes, Maria painted them in the same color as his lips. Madison let him up only when the polish was dry to the touch, and made him wave his hands to speed it up. She corrected his motion, making him let his wrists go limp the way girls would. I'm not sure he realized what she was doing, but the makeover and gestures made him look more feminine than ever. Most of the other girls already wore nail polish, but the few who didn't, including Courtney and Carmen, the girls Lee's age, followed Maria's lead, painted their nails, and waved them delicately in the air to dry them. Lee didn't stand out at all. He looked like them, except that he was wearing satin pajamas, not a nightgown. "You're really cute, Lee," Sasha said. "Thanks, I guess," he said, blushing. When all our nails were dry, we returned to the kitchen, where Mom saw Lee for the first time in the pink PJs, pigtails, hair ribbons, makeup, and nail polish. "Oh, my," she said. "It looks like I have another daughter." "They made me do it, Mom," he whined. "It doesn't look like you tried to stop them," she said. "I wanted Violet to stop them, but she wouldn't," he said. Mom gave me a look. "The other girls insisted," I said. "Anyway, I think he secretly likes how he looks." "I do not," he said. "Well, you look very nice," Mom said. "I like your hair. Very appropriate for a sleepover." Lee pouted as we carried the food into the family room with its big screen TV. I turned it on and found Galaxy Quest on a streaming service. The girls unrolled their sleeping bags and snuggled into them. We spent the next 100 minutes laughing our heads off while munching on popcorn, cookies, and Doritos. When it was time to go to bed, Mom said we could crash in the family room, but that Lee should sleep in his room. "I don't want any hanky-panky," she said. "Can I change into my own pajamas?" he asked. "What do you think, girls?" Mom asked. "No," we all cried. "Why don't you stay pretty in pink tonight?" Mom said. "We'll have a nice breakfast tomorrow, and you can change back into a boy afterwards." "Yay," we cheered. Lee looked glum but didn't push back. As we arranged our sleeping bags on the couches and carpet, he turned to head for the stairs. "Wait," Sasha said. "Don't we get a goodnight kiss?" We laughingly made him kiss each of us on the lips, smearing his lipstick, before we let him leave. Blushing harder than ever, he hurried upstairs. His door slammed. We broke down in giggles and chattered away, recounting his moments of humiliation, while allowing that he'd been a good sport about it all. What other guy would have let us dress him in satin and do his hair, makeup, and nails? And what other guy would have looked so cute afterwards? "You should keep Lee in panties, Violet," Rebecca said. "Yeah, and get him a nightgown," Madison said. "And a dress," Courtney said. "And he can keep my pajamas." "Whose underpants is he wearing?" Madison asked. "Mine," I said. I felt myself blush. "Plain ones." "Frilly pink ones next time," Sasha said. "Will there be a next time?" Madison asked. Lee was kind of shy, but he looked as good as we do. "That would be fun, but I'll have to ask my mom," I said. Maria changed the subject to Taylor Swift, and they happily analyzed her new triple album for a while. I wasn't that much of a Swiftie myself, so I tiptoed upstairs to check on Lee. I knocked lightly on his door and got no response, so I peeked inside. He was asleep in bed, but in the light from the hall I could see that he was still wearing the pink satin pajamas. He'd taken the pink ribbons out of his hair, so it was no longer in pigtails, and it looked like he cleaned off his makeup, though I could see his fingernails were still bright red. He probably didn't know where the nail polish remover was, or maybe even what it was. Did boys know about acetone? I went back downstairs and told the girls what I'd seen. "See how long you can keep him dressed and made up tomorrow," Sasha said. "If you guys stick around after breakfast, we can probably keep him from changing," I said. "Why do you want to keep him that way, though?" "It's fun," Sasha said. "I'd love to have a little brother that I could dress up." "He isn't trans, is he?" Madison asked. I wondered what to say. I didn't think he was, but I wanted him to be. For Mom's sake, I wanted him to be as unlike his macho father as possible. I don't know, I said. You think he might be? He did let us dress him up last night, Rebecca said. Well, if we have another sleepover and invite him, we could try putting him in a sexy nightgown, Sasha said. I loved seeing him in pigtails. Madison said. Do you like seeing boys dressed like girls? Asked Maria. Not if they're masculine boys, Sasha said. You mean like Derek? Rebecca said. Derek, a 6-foot linebacker on the football team, was Sasha's boyfriend of the month. No way, Sasha said. But, well, feminine boys, like Lee, you saw how cute he was, and he wasn't even in a dress. I like hunky boys who can take control, but I also like flunky boys who let me take control. Flunky boys, huh? Madison said. Is Lee a flunky boy, Violet? Not flunky enough, I said. I really had to argue with him to get him to come to the sleepover. He didn't want to do anything girly. This is pretty girly, Sasha said. I haven't been to a sleepover since I was 13. Did you invite us just to make fun of your brother? No, I said. The thing is, Lee won't be going to East High. Mom's going to homeschool him this fall. So he won't have friends at school. He needs new friends, and I don't want him hanging out with just guys. In fact, I'd rather he didn't hang out with guys at all. If you don't mind, maybe he could hang out with us, like that guy James in Derry Girls. All the Derry girls thought James was gay, Rebecca said. Is Lee? James said he wasn't gay, and I don't think Lee is either, I said. I know he had a crush on a girl named Amelia last year. I know Amelia. She's cute, Courtney said. The conversation drifted away from Lee, and we chatted until midnight or so before turning off the lights and falling asleep. In the morning, all us girls were up and decent by 7. I went upstairs to check on Lee. He was still asleep. I gently woke him up and talked him into staying in the pink pajamas. The girls are all in their sleep things. It'd be rude to show up for breakfast in jeans and a t-shirt. You can change later. How do I get rid of the fingernail polish? I have remover. I'll help you use it after the girls leave. When are they leaving? Sometime after breakfast. What's for breakfast? Mom's making waffles. I don't want her to see me in these pajamas. She's already seen you in the pajamas. She thinks you're a good sport for letting the girls beautify you. I felt pretty ridiculous last night. You weren't ridiculous. Most boys would be, but you're amazingly cute for a boy. The girls thought you were great. They accepted you like you were one of them. I laid it on pretty thick, hoping to make him more comfortable with the idea of having friends who were girls. With the idea of life in the girl-verse in general. But I'm not one of them. In those pajamas, you're an honorary girl. Oh, and you need lipstick. I do not. I don't want to wear makeup. Just for breakfast with the girls, Lee. They'll all be made up. Come on, you said you'd cooperate to make them feel more comfortable around you. I did. I ignored that, because I couldn't remember if he actually said it. I made him wait while I did his lips and hair before leading him downstairs. The scent of waffles hot off the iron greeted us as we entered the kitchen. The girls were gathered around the island, watching Mom cook. They squealed at the sight of Lee in the pink pajamas, and gave him hugs and kisses. None of them made fun of him, thank goodness. I was hungry. What kind of waffles, Mom? I asked. Turkey bacon and apple, with a touch of cinnamon, she said. Yum. Breakfast was a success. We all managed to crowd around the kitchen table, Lee in his pajamas and us girls in our nighties. The girls were all wearing makeup. I wished I'd made Lee wear more than just lipstick. At least he remained pretty in pink. As we ate, we chatted about the party last night. He came in for more than his share of compliments. I'd asked my friends to make Lee comfortable in a feminine role, and their comments gave him every encouragement. I wasn't the only one who felt it would be fun, transgressive, sexy to turn a boy into a girl. The right kind of boy. A frail boy like Lee, not like a stud like Sasha's Derek. But now the sleepover was over. We girls disappeared into my bedroom to change out of our nightwear and back into the dresses we wore yesterday. We emerged looking happy and only slightly rumpled. I removed Lee's nail polish, after which he disappeared into his room and emerged looking like a 14-year-old hippie in long hair, jeans and a crumbed-in t-shirt. His hair retained a touch of waviness from last night's braids, but after a shower, he'd be back to normal. The girls kissed him on the cheek as they left to go home. When he was dressed as a girl, they'd kissed him on the lips, but now he was back to being a boy, and a distance between us existed that hadn't during the sleepover. Mom had seemed quite accepting of Lee in pink satin. I needed to figure out how to approach her with the idea of turning Lee into Lisa. Last night, I had thought about mentioning the feminine name I'd chosen for him, but decided not to. Too soon. I'd save it for another occasion. Maybe the first time we get to see him in a dress? As it turned out, I could talk to Mom about Lee that night over dinner, because Lee wasn't there. His friend Mario invited him and some other boys to his house for gaming and pizza. I wondered if Lee deliberately chose male company to counter his feminine company and activities last night. Well, that was one of the things I could talk to Mom about. I cooked dinner, a Basque chicken recipe from Mom's dog-eared copy of Joy of Cooking so she could relax. Mom, what did you think of Lee's pajamas last night? She smiled. I thought he was cute. Pink's a good color for him, even though he's a boy. I decided to go for it. What if he wasn't a boy, Mom? Her eyes narrowed. What do you mean? What if Lee was a girl? What if he became your younger daughter? A daughter who would never grow up to be the kind of man who would hurt his wife. What, do you think he's trans? She said. Okay, he wore the pajamas, but he wasn't happy about it. I don't think he's trans, but I do think he's kind of feminine, and I think his life might be easier if he was a girl. He's small and weak. He looked great after we did his makeup, hair, and nails. If he was my sister, he'd probably do better as a student and eventually find a career that's safe and indoors, the kind that women prefer. Really? Mom seemed intrigued by the discussion. What would you change about him? Physically or otherwise? Start with the way he looks. Make him look like a teenage girl, clothes, makeup, hair, nails, the works. Pad his bra. He'll need a girl's name. I think we should call him Lisa. My goodness, Violet. Even though you think he's not trans? You'd do that to your own brother? Yes, if it keeps him from turning out like Dad, I said. I think he liked how the satin felt. I saw him stroking his arms and legs through the fabric. He might learn to like girls' clothes. He might be turned on by the underwear. He did agree to wear a pair of my panties. I think we might have to insist that he dress as a girl at first, but when he gets used to it, especially around my friends, maybe he'd enjoy being Lisa. How could we start? She asked. You could talk to him, I said. You could say you're not comfortable living with a male in the house. You prefer to live with 2 daughters, and homeschooling will make that possible. He'll object, of course. You can point out that at the sleepover, he showed that he could pass as a girl, a pretty one, and that the girls accepted him as one of them, which is more than the boys at East High would do. True, she said. You could say that if he adopted a female role to ease your anxiety, it would also ease his. It would free him from the pressure of having to compete with other males physically and emotionally. He wouldn't have to like boys the way most girls do. If he found a girl who liked girly boys, they could have a relationship. Are there girls like that? I'm sure, I said. All the girls at the sleepover loved the idea of dressing him up. Would you get a kick out of it? Mom asked. Yeah, I said. I think it'd be fun. Not in a sexual way, not with my brother. I'd just like to have that much control over a boy. Men try to control women and tell them what to wear. Let's see how they like it when a woman does it to them. Do you want revenge on men the way I do? Because of the way your father behaved? I wouldn't call it revenge, Mom. I don't want to punish Lee or hurt him. Being a girl isn't punishment. I'd love to have a little sister. And of course I want to keep him from growing up like Dad. Do you think he needs physical changes? Hormones, or even surgery? Don't ask me, I said. I'm not a doctor. Maybe you don't need to decide right away. Lee's puberty is overdue, she said. We can't wait forever. But there are things we could do right away. Yes. I said. I would love it if he would agree to try living as a girl and could learn to enjoy it. I want him to be super femme in dresses and skirts, with lots of lace and ruffles and a pretty hairdo and pierced ears. I want him to walk and talk and sit and stand like a girl, and I want his friends to be girls, so that we don't have boys hanging around the house. That's a good point, she said. Okay, here's what I think. Let's break it to him more gently. You talk to him first, and explain what I want to have happen, and do your best to talk him into it. It'll be less embarrassing for him to hear it from you. Then I'll talk to him and get him to agree to try life as Lisa. You want me to talk to him first? You did a good job talking to me just now. Be calm and comforting, but firm. You can tell him it's just for a trial period, if that helps. A trial period? What happens when the trial is over? She smiled. The verdict, guilty of passing as a girl. And the sentence, a summer in skirts. I was super nervous when I sat down with Lee in the backyard the next day, late in the afternoon. Mom was inside, well out of hearing. I'll spare you the whole conversation, but I started by talking about Mom. How badly Dad had treated her, and how strongly it had affected her, mentally as well as physically. She basically had PTSD, and we needed to provide her with a gentle, non-threatening environment. I told him what I was doing to help Mom, including running errands, doing the laundry, and taking on more of the cooking, and said there was something special that he could do for her, too. He asked what it was. I told him it was something unusual, something he might not want to do at first, but something that he could get used to for Mom's sake. I could see this made him hesitant, but he asked again what it was. So I told him. He gaped at me. Mom wants me to dress as a girl when I'm homeschooled? Are you kidding? I explained that she needed to live in an all-female environment for a while until she got over the trauma she'd suffered. I told him his transition would be purely cosmetic: clothes, hair, makeup, nails, jewelry, accessories, and would not require permanent changes. Which would be true, at least at first. I didn't mention the possibility of hormones or surgery, since Mom hadn't decided about that yet. She wants me to live as a girl 24/7 and do all the beauty stuff the girls did to me at the sleepover? No way, he said. Why would I agree to do that? Because it's traumatic for her to live with any male, I said. Especially if he's the son of her ex and reminds her of him. Especially if he'll get more masculine as time passes. Like I said, she needs to live in a feminine household. People will laugh at me. Not if they accept you as Lisa instead of Lee. You're leaving the public schools. You'll meet new people, other kids who are homeschooled. My friends already accepted you in your pink satin pajamas. Courtney's pajamas, he said. They're yours now, and they fit you perfectly. Didn't you like how they felt? Yes, but girls' daytime clothes can be just as soft and comfortable, I said. The panties felt nice, didn't they? Yes, but I finished explaining what Mom told me to say. Lee listened politely, but said he had no intention of dressing like a girl, let alone living as one. I told him I understood and would tell Mom what he said, and didn't know what she would do. I ended by telling him that I loved him as my brother and would love him even more if he became my little sister, because girls formed closer friendships than boys. He made a face, but at least didn't say no again. I told Mom about our conversation before cooking dinner. She said she would talk to him afterwards. We had sautéed ocean scallops, French-style green beans, and air-fried yam wedges with paprika. A feminine menu, I thought. Maybe it would help put Lee in an agreeable mood for his chat with Mom. I did the dishes while they went upstairs. The sound of their voices told me they headed to Mom's bedroom, not Lee's. I wondered what she would tell him. Would she lay down the law, or compromise with him in some way, or just accept that his no meant no? They talked for an hour, after which Lee went to his room and closed the door. A few minutes later, Mom went downstairs to have a cup of tea. I descended upon her, poured a cup for myself, and asked how it went. He said no at first, many times, she said. I finally had to resort to tears. I played on his emotions. I cried and said he was just like his father. I explained again why I need our household to be feminine, and how homeschooling would make it less difficult, and I think I eventually overcame his objections. We made a deal. Which is a 1-week trial, she said. I'll order him some clothes online, so he doesn't have to go shopping for girls' clothes in person. When they arrive, I'll take him for a makeover at my salon. I'll use the week to make him as comfortable as possible as a girl. At the end of the week, we'll see how he feels about it. What if he wants to be Lee again? I'll talk him into extending the trial period. I'll find a good enough reason or excuse. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be Lisa for the summer, or beyond. When I start homeschooling him, I think he'll look cute in a schoolgirl's uniform, Mom said. That sounds great, Mom. I was jealous of her. I'd failed to convince Lee to try being a girl, but she succeeded. Of course, she was his mother and sole parent and had way more authority than I did. The important thing was that Lee had agreed to a trial period in girls' clothes. Have you ordered his new clothes yet? I thought you and I could spend some time online tonight and choose some things for him, she said. I grinned. Absolutely. Mom ended up buying Lee a week's worth of girls' clothes. For his trial, or however long he ended up dressing as Lisa. Underwear first. 7 pairs of panties. For 32B bras in matching styles, with cute little foam pads to fill them out. 3 half slips and 3 full slips. 7 pairs of thigh-high stockings. 3 slinky nighties in various styles. 3 dresses, a cute sundress, a nice shirtwaist house dress, and a fancy white dress. For casual wear, a denim skirt and a pink t-shirt with princess spelled out in silver glitter. No pants of any kind, no girls' jeans, slacks, capris, shorts, or skirts. A black vinyl purse. Black leather Mary Janes with 1.5-inch heels, white patent pumps with 2-inch heels, and a pair of pink satin ballerina flats as slippers. We looked at the site's shopping cart. Mom, this is almost $1,000. If I'm going to launch my son as my new daughter, I'm going to do it right, she said. As soon as you make him launder all this and put it back in his room, I said, he'll realize his trial will last longer than a week. He'll need more than a week to realize he'll be better off as a girl, she said. A calmer, gentler life in prettier clothes, without having to compete with men for status and power. I'm sure I'll be able to convince him. What do you think, Violet? Should I go ahead and click the checkout button? Yes, please, I said. I wonder how he'll react when he sees what you want him to wear. What if he refuses? Should we take away his boys' clothes? No, she said. We want to convince him, not force him. He has enough room in his closet and drawers for the new clothes we're buying without clearing out his old things. Later, maybe, but not now. What if he insists on wearing his old clothes? We'll have to convince him not to. How? By being relentlessly positive, Mom said. By pointing out the many benefits of life as a girl. By inviting him to events with your friends and having him get used to dressing up. I'll look for a Facebook group of moms who are homeschooling their daughters, and maybe we can find some here in Springfield. We could have another sleepover for homeschooled girls. Great idea, Mom. One decision I've made, Violet, is that if we have to discipline him, we won't use pain. No spanking or anything like that. We can use embarrassment instead, dress him as a younger girl, or make him practice putting on lipstick and makeup. If he behaves like a good girl, we won't be mean to him. Okay, Mom. I have to admit that I harbored fantasies of taking Lisa over my knee, lifting his skirts, and swatting his pantied bottom, but that was off limits. Probably just as well we didn't want to traumatize Leo, we just wanted to steer him toward femininity. My mother pulled me aside the next morning after breakfast. I should mention, she said, that I went online later last night and added a few items to Lee's order. What items? I asked. A maid's uniform, she said. Not a trashy one. A black satin dress, a frilly apron, a little lace cap, and a crisp taffeta petticoat. Wow. I imagined how Lee would look dressed as Lisa the maid. When will you make him wear it? Halloween, if not sooner, she said. I'll hide it in my closet until then. We'll have a costume party for your girlfriends. Lee will answer the door and do the cooking and serving and cleaning up. Ooh, I said. It would be wonderful if Lee could continue to be our maid after Halloween. The thought crossed my mind, Mom said. The more submissive he becomes, the less danger that he'll start taking after his father, and the more secure I'll feel. I want you to feel completely secure, Mom. Lee's new clothes arrived over the next 3 days. The packages piled up in Mom's bedroom. At dinner on Friday, Mom announced that Lee would start his trial period as Lisa on Saturday morning. I'll get you dressed and take you to my salon for a makeover, and then I'll bring you home and we'll have a fashion show so Violet can see your new things. Lee pouted. Do I really have to do this? Why do I have to be a girl? Why can't I just be myself? Because of your father, Mom said. I'm not sure a male can understand the trauma I suffered. You just need to accept that I can't have a masculine presence in my home. I know, Mom, he said. It's just, couldn't I wear slacks, or shorts, or something less obviously feminine? The more feminine you are, the safer I'll feel, she said. Please, Lee, be Lisa for me. I promise I'll punish your sister if she makes fun of you. I'm not going to make fun of Lisa, I said. I can't wait to have a sister. We'll have so much more fun when you're a girl. My friends can't wait to see you again. Your first assignment as Lisa will be to make dinner tomorrow, Mom said. A young lady needs to know how to cook. Isn't that sexist, Mom? Lee said. Yes, but it's reality, she said. Your father never cooked dinner in his life. When was the last time you did? Right. I'm going to teach you skills you haven't had to learn as a boy, Mom said. Skills you'll find useful for the rest of your life. Do we call him Lisa, starting tomorrow? I asked. When he wears boys' clothes, we call him Lee. Like right now. When he wears girls' clothes, we call him Lisa. Okay? Okay, Mom, he said in a funereal voice. That was interesting. For the first time, he didn't object to what she proposed. He'd taken an initial step on his journey toward femininity. I wondered how he would react to wearing women's clothing 24/7. He liked the feel of his satin pajamas at the sleepover. Surely the delicate fabrics of lingerie would feel just as good, maybe better. I didn't know how he would react to the constrictions of women's wear bras, slip straps, stockings, heels, snug bodices, tight skirts. Some men developed fetishes for articles of women's clothing. Maybe he would? We should be so lucky. One thing we need to do tonight, Mom told Lee, is to depilate you. Remove your body hair. Instead of making you shave, we can use lotion. Do I really need to, Mom? He whined. I'm not very hairy. You're hairier than your sister, she said. You need smooth legs to wear hose. You can't have any chest or underarm hair. We should probably do your arms, too. Fortunately, you don't really have any facial hair yet. Mom's right, I said. Look at my arms and legs. Bare compared to yours. If you don't depilate, girls will think you're icky. Don't worry, it won't hurt, Mom said. You can shower afterwards, and then we'll soothe your skin in a nice hot bath. She took him up to our bathroom. When he came back downstairs later, he was wearing one of his new nightgowns, and his skin was as smooth and soft as any girl's. He was dressed as a girl now, so I could stop calling him Lee. You look very pretty, Lisa, I said. He scowled. Lisa! Your sister paid you a compliment, Mom said. You should thank her. I mean it, I said. You do look pretty. Thank you, he said in a voice that sounded anything but thankful. Mom and I changed into nightgowns, too, and we watched another episode of the old TV show Gilmore Girls before going to bed. On Saturday morning, the start of Lee's trial as Lisa, Mom ran a bath for him. I wanted to watch her turn him into my new sister, but she shooed me out of the bathroom, saying Lisa needed privacy. An hour later, though, I saw him leave the bathroom in his new underwear. Lee looked delicious in the lacy lingerie. He did not, however, look happy. I was okay with that. Happy could wait. Delicious was more important. Good morning, Lisa, I said. You look fabulous. I feel ridiculous, he said. I don't see why I need to wear a bra. The stockings are a hassle. My socks don't need garters. You need to wear a bra to have a feminine figure, Mom said. I see your panties fit well. Mom, he squealed, and covered his crotch with his hands. Relax, Lisa, she said. It's okay for girls to see each other in their underwear. Let's get the rest of your new clothes on. She took him to his room. He emerged a few minutes later in a pretty pink dress that seemed a bit young for his age. "Oh, Lisa. I love you in that dress," I said. "This is worse than the pajamas, Mom," Lee said. "At least they had pants. This dress, it's too open. If I sit down wrong, you'll see my underwear. My arms and legs are naked." "Your legs aren't naked," Mom said. "Your stockings are very pretty. They might as well be naked. Look how much skin I'm showing. Why don't girls cover themselves?" The answer that came to me was, because girls like to attract boys. Which was not what Lee needed to hear at that moment. I shut up and hoped Mom would answer. "Women often do," she said. "You've seen movies of the old days, when ladies had to wear lots of long layers that must have been hot and uncomfortable. But these aren't the old days. It's summertime, and you're young and ready to have fun. I can tell you that a dress is cooler and more comfortable than jeans and a t-shirt. Softer and prettier, too. I'm so glad you have long hair. A wig would be hot and uncomfortable this time of year." "Speaking of hot and uncomfortable, why do I need to wear stockings?" he asked. "Don't you like how they feel on smooth legs?" Mom said. "All soft and silky?" "I guess so, but they're just so girly." "Like the rest of what you're wearing," she said. "You're just not used to these clothes yet. We'll see how you feel in a week." "I don't want to get used to these clothes," he said. "I'm a boy, I'm not a girl." "You know why I don't want any males in my house," Mom said. "So I can't live here if I'm a boy?" "I want you to live here as Lisa," she said. "I can't believe I let you talk me into dressing up like this," he said. "What happens in a week when this is over and I want to wear my own clothes again?" "Let's wait a week and find out," Mom said. "Meanwhile, you need to learn some feminine skills. Do you know how to curtsy?" "Of course not, Mom." "Come with me and I'll teach you," she said, leading him upstairs. I could hear him ask, "Why do I need to know how to curtsy?" at the top of the stairs, but couldn't hear Mom's answer. It was a good question. I was a real girl, and I couldn't remember ever curtsying in my life. But did I know how? Of course I knew how. I'd seen women curtsy on TV, in movies, and on MeTube and TikTok, but I'd never been in a social situation where I needed to do it. It was hardly likely I'd ever meet the Queen of England, or no, they had a king now. Whatever. When they came back downstairs, Mom was talking to a pouting Lee about helping with the housework. Good. I always had to do more chores than he did, because I was older and because I was a girl. Mom never asked him to do the laundry or cook a meal. It looked like that would change now that he was Lisa. "There you are, Violet," Mom said. "I just had a lovely idea. Would you like to have another sleepover with your friends?" "When?" "Now that school's out, weeknights are okay. How about next Wednesday?" "Please, no," Lee said. "Not while I'm dressed like this." "You dressed like a girl at your sister's last sleepover, and they all loved you," Mom said. "Less than a week is short notice, Mom," I said, almost wanting to take pity on my brother in his pretty pink dress. "The girls may have other plans." "On a Wednesday night?" "Why don't you call them and find out? Tell them you have a new friend for them to meet." "You mean Lee?" "I mean, Lisa. They met him last time. They met Lee in Courtney's pajamas. This time, they'll meet Lisa in a cute dress, and he'll change into one of his pretty nighties." Mom, please don't, he said. Violet's friends will tell everyone, and everyone will think I'm trans. Violet, can you ask the girls not to say anything about Lisa? Mom said. In person or online? I'll tell them, I said, knowing that it would be futile. Even if I wanted to keep Lee's change a secret, it was impossible. Someone would blab. If Mom kept him in dresses all summer, people would see him. Word would get out. Maybe it was the best thing that could happen to him? If Mom was serious about having a feminine household, he'd be living as a girl from now on, and the sooner people got used to it, the better. I messaged my friends about a sleepover. Madison and Courtney couldn't come on Wednesday, and Maria and Carmen couldn't come on Thursday, but everyone was free on Friday, so Mom had me invite them over then. It would be the last day of Lee's trial period, unless the trial was extended somehow. I told them Lee would be there, but didn't mention that he would be in a dress, not pink pajamas. I could tell they looked forward to seeing him dressed as a girl again. Lee, however, did not look forward to the sleepover, not at all. I don't want anyone except you two to see me this week. Sorry, but that wasn't part of the deal, Mom said. Violet can have her friends over, and they've already seen you in girls' clothes. If I have to do this, can I wear the pajamas again? No, Mom said. You'll be Lisa and wear a dress when the girls arrive, and you'll change into one of your new nightgowns. Which one do you think is prettiest? The dress or the nightgown? Both. I'd really rather wear the pajamas. They're girly enough. No. If you won't choose, I'll want you to wear your fancy white dress, not the one you're wearing, and your most fetching nightgown. I think your pink baby doll nightie is the cutest, so you can wear that. It even has bloomers you can wear for modesty. Oh, God, not that one, Mom, he said. How about, the nightgown I'm wearing? It's pretty. Yes, it's pretty, but it's not as cute as your baby doll, she said. You'll be pretty in pink again. Lee subsided into a sullen silence. I was excited. I wanted my friends to see Lee turned into Lisa in his pretty dress and cute nightie. I hoped they'd accept him fully dressed as a girl, rather than a boy forced to wear a pair of satin jammies as a joke. On Saturday, Mom helped Lisa into his new feminine underwear and a dress, and did his hair and makeup. I was surprised by how feminine she made him look. She took the three of us to her salon, where we all had our hair, makeup, and nails done. Mom told Lisa that he was lucky to have removed his body hair last night, because otherwise he would have had to undergo a painful and embarrassing waxing. Afterwards, we took Lisa to Claire's, where the technician pierced his ears and inserted cute little studs in the shape of gold hearts perfect for a girl Lisa's age. The earrings made him look even more feminine. You said no permanent changes, Mom. If you stop wearing earrings, the holes will close up, she said. Until then, people will laugh at me. Look around, Lisa, Mom said. Do you see anyone staring at you? Anyone about to shout, "Hey, that's a guy in a dress"? No, because you're doing such a good job. You're passing perfectly. I'm glad I made you wear heels. They force you to walk femininely. Truth, I said. Believe it or not, I see guys checking you out. Mom, you should talk to Lisa about guys and how to handle them when they misbehave. He's cute enough that boys will be drawn to him, and we definitely don't want them getting handsy with my new sister. Oh, God, Lisa said. Just what I need, guys perving on me. I like girls, and I don't want to have guys checking me out. You and I can talk when we get home, Mom said. I don't know what they talked about, but Lisa was too embarrassed to tell me later. I didn't realize how complicated it is to be a girl, she said. I have to be careful of everything. Yeah, when guys go out, they don't have to worry about personal safety, I said. They don't have to wonder whether that guy down the sidewalk will assault them. Lee would tell you that's not true, he said. Guys worry about safety, too. Maybe not as much as girls do, and they worry about physical instead of sexual assault, but yeah, any guy who's bigger and stronger than you is a potential threat. It's just part of your radar. As Lisa, you need to shift your radar, Mom said. Men won't challenge you to a fight. But they'll grab your ass, or cop a feel, or say something rude. Or they'll just stare at you, undressing you with their eyes, and there's not much you can do about that except get out of their sight. It's totally unfair. When they look at us, it's like they're inspecting their potential property. If we look at them, they think we're coming on to them. Too true, I said. Mom spent much of the afternoon teaching Lisa how to do laundry. How to separate it, what washer and dryer settings to use, how little detergent you needed to use, how to fold it, and how to put it away. It was woman's work in our household, but now all three of us could do it. I looked forward to seeing Lisa lug baskets of clothing up and down the stairs. Maybe Mom would teach him how to do the ironing, too. On Sunday, Mom took Lisa and me to church. This was unusual. We usually went to church only on Christmas and Easter, when they had the best music. Today, though, she had Lisa wear his frilly white dress, stockings, and heels, and did his makeup for him. She put a white ribbon in his hair and made him wear short lace-trimmed white gloves that made him look 10 or 12 years old. "You look elegant," I told him, hiding a smile. "Yuck. I feel like the flower girl at a wedding," he said. "Your job at church is to keep your dress and gloves immaculate," Mom said. "Violet should wear a dress, too," he said. Mom looked at me. I didn't much want to wear a dress, but knew I had to set an example for Lisa. "My blue graduation dress?" I said. "That will be lovely, dear," Mom said. She gave us each $1 for the church offering plate and matching little white clutch purses that also held a lipstick and compact. I felt dreadfully dainty, and could just imagine how Lisa felt in her even more girlish getup. "Why do we have to go to church, Mom?" Lisa asked. "Well, I'm not all that religious, but it's good for you, and it's an opportunity to test your social skills," Mom said. "You have to dress up nicely, which is part of being a girl, and church will be a place full of nice people where you'll have to sit quietly and be politely feminine and demure for an hour, which is also something girls need to be able to do." "Sounds boring," Lisa said. "Women need to be pleasant and polite even when they're bored, as they often are when men are talking," Mom said. "Our good manners make social life possible. Imagine what life would be like if men were in charge of holidays and birthdays and dinner parties and family events. Nothing would happen. We'd all stay at home and die of solitude while they watched sports or played video games. If we depended on men to do the cooking, we'd all starve to death. If we relied on them to wash the dishes, we'd all die of dysentery." Lisa didn't reply. Neither did I. Mom was obviously talking about our father, a topic we normally avoided. She had good reasons to be bitter about what she'd experienced. We felt sorry for her, but I didn't think all men were boring or bad, and I assume Lisa naturally thought more highly of males than Mom did. We went to an early service, where we sat near the back of the pews. Lisa and I became bored and fidgety, and Mom kept giving us disapproving looks. The problem was that our dresses had petticoats that rustled audibly whenever we moved, and it was hard to stay completely still, clutching our little purses in our laps, while the minister talked and talked and talked. We got to stand up for the hymns, which Mom mostly knew but we didn't, but then we had to sit down again and be good girls while listening to more talking. It wasn't fun. When the service finally ended, a lot of the people who attended lined up to exchange greetings with the minister, but Mom spared us that ordeal, led us back to the car, and drove us home. I wish the two of you paid more attention to what he was saying, Mom said. At least you didn't do anything to call attention to yourselves, and once again, no one seemed to think Lisa is anything but what she appears to be, a pretty teenage girl. Well done again, Lisa. How do you feel now that you've been out in public twice? It's still really embarrassing, Lisa said. This dress and gloves are over the top. Fancy, aren't they? Did you prefer the dress you wore yesterday? Mom asked. Yeah, he said. Well, feel free to change back into it when we get home, Mom said. Spend the rest of the day as you like, but I want you to cook dinner tonight. You can follow a recipe, find something you can make with what we have in the house. Violet, lend a hand if necessary, but make Lisa do most of the work. Most people accept it when a man says he can't cook, but they think less of a woman who isn't at home in the kitchen. Lisa ended up making a pasta dish with penne, ground turkey, marinara sauce, and vegetables, chopped onions, garlic, red and green peppers, mushrooms, olives, and a few aging spears of asparagus. I didn't have to lift a finger, though I offered occasional advice on how much of something to add. Mom and I were impressed by his cooking and complimented him for it. This time, instead of protesting, my new little sister just said, "Thank you." He seemed more at home in his new clothes, too. Fewer objections than a day earlier. Perhaps our praise of his looks affected his attitude. I caught a glimpse of Mom making Lisa practice his curtsies, and wondered why that antique gesture mattered. On Monday morning, Mom let Lisa choose what to wear, wasn't happy with his choice, and spent the morning in his room womansplaining basic fashion rules to him. I overheard bits of it, and it was the advice that every girl absorbs as she grows up: what to wear and when, how to tell if you're over or underdressed, how to mix and match clothes and accessories, and what colors suit your skin tone. Stuff I'm sure he never thought about as a boy, when almost all of his clothes were black, blue, or gray. At midday, Mom took a nicely dressed Lisa and a sloppier me out to a veggie lunch at La Navette, where we ran into one of her friends from her old job, a white-haired lady named Harriet. Mom introduced us as her two daughters, Violet and Lisa, and I saw no sign that Harriet saw through Lisa's disguise as my younger sister. Lisa seemed relieved and almost pleased about the encounter afterwards, the first positive sign that he was starting to take pride in his feminine presentation. I just wanted to kiss him. And I did that night, before we went to bed, to cheer him up after he spent his afternoon doing deportment training with Mom and more housework, this time, vacuuming, sweeping, and mopping. Things women usually had to do, because men usually didn't. Tuesday dawned, and with it, more drama. Mom mentioned over breakfast that Madison, Courtney, and their mother would be coming over for dinner tonight. "Oh, please no, Mom," said Lisa, wearing the same dress as yesterday. He really needed more clothes. "Don't be silly," Mom said. "Madison and Courtney have seen you in pink satin, and I'm sure they told their mother about it. No one will be surprised to see you in satin again." "None of the dresses you bought me are satin," Lisa said. "I have a special one saved for you," Mom said. "I'd like you to wear it tonight. It's black, with white lace trim, a pretty hostess apron, and a decorative hairpiece. They'll love you in it." I figured it out before Lisa did. Mom was talking about the maid uniform she'd ordered. Oh my God, was she really going to make Lisa wear it in front of Madison and Courtney? Totally embarrassing. They'd already seen Lisa in Courtney's PJs, but this would be 10 times worse. Mom wanted Lisa to dress as a maid and do what? Greet our guests, show them inside, fetch their mom a drink, cook dinner, and serve it? And clean up afterwards, no doubt, all while dressed as a submissive female servant. No wonder Mom made him practice curtsying. Wait a minute, Mom, Lisa said. That sounds almost like a maid costume. You wouldn't. I would, Mom said. One of the things females are expected to do is serve others, especially their families and guests. I'd like you to be a domestic servant for an evening, to make you appreciate one of the roles society demands that women play. Don't worry, I'll let them know what to expect, so that it doesn't come as a surprise. You're going to tell them that I'll be dressed as a maid? Oh, God, Mom, that'll be the absolute worst. Please, no. Don't make me do it. It won't be so bad, she said. They'll sympathize with you. They might laugh at me for making you dress that way. I won't mind, and neither should you. I will definitely mind, Lisa said. I don't want to look like a maid in front of my friends. Can't I just wear a normal dress? I was pleased to hear him offer to wear a dress instead of the uniform. At least he wasn't insisting on wearing boys' clothes. Sorry, dear, but no, Mom said. During this trial period, I want you to experience how extremely feminine women's clothes can be. Don't worry if you were to remain Lisa, this uniform might be something you wear only once a year, on Halloween. Well, I refuse to wear it at any time during the year, including tonight, Lisa said. Oh, do you? What happened to your promise to wear what I ask you to wear this week? If you don't want to wear the uniform, how would you like to greet your friends in just a bra and petticoat? Or we could go to the costume shop and rent you a ballerina's tutu, or a wedding dress. Oh, please, no. Lisa said. That'd be even worse. Why can't I just wear one of my dresses? You can. Mom said. A black satin one with pretty lace trim and an apron. I ordered it with the others and saved it for you. Violet and Madison and Courtney will wear dresses. I want my Lisa to be even more feminine than them. Just for tonight. Please? It would make me feel safe, and so happy. If they make fun of you, I'll let you change into one of your regular dresses. Lisa looked as if he was about to cry. All right. I'll wear the uniform. But if they laugh at me, I can put on something else, right? Courtney's pajamas. Not the pajamas, Mom said. A dress. All right, Lisa said. A dress. Without the apron. Yes, if they make fun of you, Mom said. She gave him a hug. Thank you, dear. I'm proud of you for being so brave. I don't feel brave, Lisa said. I feel like I'm drowning in girliness. Don't the clothes feel nice? Mom said. Nicer than boxers and jeans? Well, they're softer, he said. I think you're starting to like your new clothes, I said. Just a little bit. The tiniest bit, he said. It's a start, Mom said. Lisa spent the day in one of his regular dresses, but in the late afternoon, Mom took him upstairs for the better part of an hour. They came down later holding hands. Mom was wearing a maroon dress trimmed with black lace, and Lisa was wearing the maid's uniform trimmed with white lace. He blushed when he saw me. Wow, you both look fantastic. I said. You need to dress up, too, Violet, Mom said. I spread the denim skirt I was wearing. This isn't nice enough? Mom frowned. No. Set a good example for your little sister. Oh, all right. I'll go change. I put on my graduation dress. I never dreamed I'd get so much use out of it and rejoined them. Lisa was starting to assemble dinner ingredients under Mom's watchful eye. I know Lisa hated having to wear the maid's outfit, but he looked so fetching in it, and moved so naturally, that there was nothing jarring or amusing about the sight. Part of it, of course, was the uniform itself. It was tastefully designed, fit him perfectly, swished gracefully around his hips and thighs, and made the most of the modest bust his padded B-cup bra created. On the fourth day of his trial in skirts, he seemed almost comfortable in his heels. "Violet, perhaps you could set the table?" Mom said. "I suppose I could," I said, "but don't we have a maid to do that?" You're right. While Lisa sets the table, shall we have a glass of wine? You're not 21, but we're at home. Yes, please, Mom. She poured, I sipped, and happily watched my new little sister chop onions for whatever he was making. I asked. "Chicken paprikas with Hungarian dumplings and a Mediterranean salad," Lisa said. "Store-bought gelato for dessert." "Yum," I said, and looked forward to the meal more, I was sure, than Lisa did. As the housemaid, cook, and waitress, he would be on display all night in his darling little uniform, and I knew he dreaded the encounter ahead. While the chicken, butter, onions, garlic, tomatoes, peppers, paprika and other ingredients stewed, a knock came at the front door. "Answer it, please, Lisa. Invite our guests inside, and give them a nice curtsy." "Curtsy," he said. "Do I really have to?" "Yes, you do. Maids curtsy when they greet guests." "I'm not a maid, Mom." "You are tonight, and a very pretty one. Please do the job you're dressed for." Lisa reluctantly opened the door and tried to hide behind it as he invited Madison, Courtney, and their mother, Ms. Dubonnet, to come in. "Oh, Lisa! You're wearing the uniform." "Show us," said an eager Madison. My erstwhile brother, now my little sister, stepped out from behind the door, blushing brightly, and executed a passable curtsy. Our guests took turns gushing over his appearance. "You look beautiful. I wish I could wear that. I love the apron. What a cute little cap. You look, well, like a real maid." This last from Ms. Dubonnet. "No," Madison said. "You look like a pretty friend of mine who is pretending to be a maid just to show us how fabulous a dinner she can serve." "That's right," Courtney said. "You're so much prettier than when you wore my pajamas." "Can Lisa offer you a glass of wine?" Mom asked Ms. Dubonnet. "Yes, please," Ms. Dubonnet said. "Any for Madison or Courtney?" "Madison may have half a glass," her mother said. "A soft drink will be fine for Courtney." Lisa poured glasses of wine for Mom and Ms. Dubonnet and half a glass for Madison and served them. Courtney settled for a Diet Coke left over from the sleepover. Lisa returned to cooking dinner, with Madison and Courtney chattering away at him. I stood apart, eavesdropping on a quiet conversation between the two mothers. "Remarkable," Ms. Dubonnet said. "How did you make him do it?" "I told him I won't let him grow up like his father." "I mean, I won't let her." "Him." "Her." "God, it's confusing." Ms. Dubonnet laughed. "You told me about your ex. Good riddance. What will you do with his son?" "I'm not sure," Mom said. "I don't want a son. I want another daughter, and there she is. Lisa's still very young, but I hope she adjusts to life as a girl, and maybe she'll get married someday." "To a man, or a woman?" "Lisa would prefer a woman, I think," Mom said. "I hope Lisa can be the bride." "She'd be gorgeous in a wedding gown," Ms. Dubonnet said. "She is pretty, isn't she?" Mom said, watching Lisa bend over the stove to stir the chicken paprikas. His skirt slid up an inch or two, exposing more of his white taffeta petticoat. Dinner was fabulous, and Lisa received nothing but positive feedback all night. By the end of the evening, he seemed almost comfortable in his uniform. His deportment was still far from perfect, but had improved noticeably from the weekend. The girls were particularly impressed by how well he coped in his heels. When it was time to go, Courtney asked Mom if she could give the maid a goodnight kiss. "It would be rude to kiss a real maid, but Lisa's your friend, so go ahead," Mom said. Courtney, Madison, and even Ms. Dubonnet all kissed Lisa on the cheek. Lisa blushed, gave them a final curtsy, and closed the door after they left. "Oh, Lisa! You did so well tonight," Mom said, and added her kiss to the lip prints on Lisa's cheeks. "I did, too." "You really did," I said. "The sleepover on Friday is sure to be a big success." Madison and Courtney are probably messaging the other girls as we speak. "Did they take any photos of you?" "They did not," Mom said. "I made that clear to their mother. Their phones were in her purse until after they left." "Thanks, Mom." Lisa looked down at his costume and brushed a crumb off his apron. "Can I change out of this now? Was it really so dreadful to wear?" Mom asked. "The girls loved you in it. I think they were jealous of you." "Courtney wanted to wear it," I said. "Well, she can have it," he said. "It was so embarrassing. I almost died when I had to open the door to them. It was worse than if I'd been wearing a normal dress. The apron and the hairpiece are really humiliating." "They're also really cute," I said. "Oh, and the petticoat," he said. "The way it rustles, and shows whenever I move all that lace. It's just too girly." "It's too cute," I said. "I'll bet Courtney wanted to wear it, too. Where would a normal girl wear a petticoat like this?" Lisa asked. "To a dance, or a wedding, or with certain dresses," Mom said. "My mother said practically every woman wore petticoats when she was a girl. Now, most girls don't even wear a slip." "Most girls don't even wear dresses, Mom," Lisa said. "Why do I have to? Why can't I wear pants?" "Girls' pants? Why would they be better than a dress?" Mom said. They'd be less feminine. More like boys' pants. Not all frilly and goopy," Lisa said. "Look at me. I'm surrounded by lace." "Yes, and you look lovely," Mom said. "You didn't seem to mind it all that much tonight. You looked quite comfortable in your uniform. Do you like the way it feels?" "I might if I was a girl," he said. "The way the layers slide over each other and rustle is nice. Satin is smoother and shinier than cotton." "It certainly is," Mom said. "Well, hang up your dress and petticoat carefully in your closet, and put the apron and hairpiece in one of your drawers, and maybe sometime you'll want to wear them again. You can go change into one of your nightgowns. Don't forget to moisturize the way I showed you." Lisa grimaced. "Okay." He disappeared upstairs. "What do you think, Mom?" I asked. I don't know what to call him. I think Lisa did well tonight. Complained about the costume, but reluctantly agreed to wear it, and got so much positive reinforcement. Please thank Madison and Courtney the next time you see them, probably at the sleepover. Lisa made so much progress today. I hope he doesn't regret it tomorrow. But he did. On Wednesday morning, Lisa must have gotten up on the wrong side of the bed, because he came down to the kitchen wearing boys' jeans and a t-shirt. "Lisa," Mom said. "What on earth are you wearing?" "My real clothes," he said. "My name isn't Lisa, I'm not a girl, and I'm not going to wear girls' clothes." "Well," Mom said. "What happened to the cooperative young lady we saw last night?" She wasn't a young lady. And she wasn't a maid, he said. I can't believe you made me wear that uniform in front of Madison and Courtney. I've never been so embarrassed in my life. You seemed fine with the uniform last night, dear. What happened? I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, thinking about how ridiculous my life is. My own mother is telling me my name is Lisa, and she's dressing me like a 12-year-old girl, and making me curtsy, and last night she made me put on a maid's dress with an apron and cap and a crinkly petticoat, and it was just too much. Did you cry, dear? Mom asked. Yes. I was really upset. Well, it's good that you were able to cry, she said. Boys are trained not to, but it's an important way for girls to relieve stress, and you must be feeling a lot of stress right now. Yes, he said, but you're causing it, Mom. It's change that's causing the stress, she said, and not just for you. Our family has seen a lot of it. Both of you just left the schools where you've been for years. Your father skipped your graduations, got drunk, beat me up, got arrested. I hope he rots in jail. Tears started to roll down her cheeks. So I'm a mental wreck because of him, and I don't want any men around me. But if I take you out of public school to protect you, you'll be around here all the time, and you'll start turning into a man. I'm trying to solve all this, and the simplest and best solution for all of us is for Lee to become Lisa. It isn't the simplest and best solution for me, Mom. Isn't it? You're doing a good job of it already, or were until just now. Living as Lisa will keep you out of fights. It'll also keep you from turning out like your father. You'll have a deeper friendship with your sister. It'll let you make new friends who aren't suffering from testosterone poisoning. Look at the fun you had at your sleepover. Look how well you got along with Madison and Courtney last night, and it was because you were so nicely dressed. All this can happen if you just accept one big change in your life. One huge change, Mom. Yes, and I love you for agreeing to try it. We're only halfway through the trial period. I would appreciate it, my peace of mind would appreciate it if you could complete the trial before loudly proclaiming that you refuse to wear girls' clothes. Are you willing to do that for me, Lee? I'm calling you Lee because that's your name when you're dressed in those ugly clothes. If you're willing to live by our agreement, please go upstairs and change into something more suitable for Lisa to wear. It was Lee's turn to break out in tears. He turned and hurried upstairs. I heard his door slam. I turned and hugged Mom. Pain and stress leaked out of her in loud sobs. She fiercely hugged me back. No words were necessary. She slowly calmed down. Thank you, dear. There are times when I need a hug, and that was definitely one of them. What do you think he's doing upstairs? I hope he's having a good cry, getting dressed, and making himself up as Lisa. I think you pushed him too hard last night, Mom. The maid uniform was over the top. She sighed. Maybe it was a mistake. But he was so cute. The girls loved him in it. What if he comes downstairs dressed as Lee? I said. Then I'll try again to convince him to be Lisa. He can't avoid me. I'll talk his ear off until he gives in. She would, too. Mom, have you thought about, what if you just homeschooled him as Lee? I love him as Lisa, but if he's really so unhappy about it. Yes, I've thought about it. Your father hurt me in ways you don't know, ways you don't want to know. I don't want to live with his son. I know that's terrible of me, but it's true. His little rant just now scared me. I need to live without men around. He's convincing enough as Lisa to keep me from panicking, but I want. I need him to be even more feminine. Sometime soon, I need to have a conversation with him about how far he's willing to go to be Lisa. Hormones? Surgery? Or do nothing? I need to talk to my endocrinologist and maybe a therapist. But no, I don't want to homeschool him as Lee. I want to teach him to be Lisa. Wow. I wasn't sure what to say. I hope you'll do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself, Mom. I was tearing up now. I think I need a cup of tea, she said. That sounds good, I said. We went to the kitchen. She filled the tea kettle and turned it on. I got out 2 mugs. Before the water had time to boil, I heard steps on the stairs. Moments later, Lisa walked into the kitchen. He was wearing his frilly white church dress, with stockings and 2-inch pumps. The heels clicked on the tile floor. He wore makeup and nail polish. I noted with approval that he'd hidden any signs of tears and had brushed his hair. I detected a note of a floral eau de cologne. He walked up to Mom and dipped into a curtsy. I'm sorry, Mom, he said. I've been selfish. If you need me to be Lisa, I'll be Lisa. Oh, Lisa! Mom cried and hugged him. Thank you, thank you. The kettle boiled, and Mom and I took a break to make the tea. I got a 3rd mug out of the cupboard. Mom poured, and we took seats around the kitchen table. Lisa gracefully smoothed his skirt under him before sitting. Hey, sis, I said. Thanks for changing. You look much nicer. What made you change your mind? He hesitated. I thought about what Mom said. That long list of everything our family has been through lately. How badly she was hurt. What she needs to heal. What I need to do to help her. Wow. I'd never heard him say anything so sensitive and thoughtful. I think you're helping her greatly by looking the way you do right now. You certainly are, Mom said. I also had to think about my future, he said. I can't see how I'll ever succeed as a man. I'm not big, I'm not strong, I'm not aggressive. I'm not smart enough to be a nerd. I'll never be able to compete with other men. I'm wondering if life as Lisa might be better than life as Lee. Homeschool with Mom, finish high school, and find a job where I can work from home. My goodness, Mom said. I'm impressed. You're talking about your deepest feelings. That's something Lee would never do. That's the purpose of this trial period, to let you experience life as Lisa, and I'm glad you're taking it so seriously. I would love to have you as a sister, I said. I choked up for a moment and couldn't say more. Lisa made a family special for breakfast, scrambled eggs with vegetables and a dash of tapatio sauce, wrapped in a flour tortilla. After we ate, Mom disappeared into the home office. I took the liberty of asking Lisa to tidy up the kitchen. He complied without a word of complaint. His attitude had completely changed. Was it all because of what Mom said? It certainly seemed to have made a profound impression on him. But I wondered if a few days in dresses might also have awakened in him a latent appreciation of the pleasures of female attire. I considered him lucky to have had a chance to dress as a girl, something that I guessed few boys ever experienced. It wouldn't surprise me to find out he liked his slinky new undies and layers of delicate fabrics well enough to influence his change of heart. I spent too much of the day in my room, scrolling my phone. Mom stayed in her office. When I went downstairs, I could hear her talking, but not what she was saying. Lisa made and cleaned up after lunch. I could hear him running a vacuum around the house during the afternoon. The day held one more surprise for Mom and me. As evening fell, I heard sounds from the kitchen, and assumed either Mom or Lisa was thinking about dinner. I guiltily shut down all my apps, left my phone on my bed, and went downstairs to be sociable. I found Lisa chopping vegetables in the kitchen, with a cookbook at his elbow. What I did not expect was to see him wearing his maid's uniform. The black, lace-trimmed satin dress. The white apron and maid's cap. The flaring petticoat, stay-up stockings, and Mary Jane's. The uniform that I thought he hated. "What's all this?" I said. "Oh, I'm just starting dinner." "Yes, but I thought you weren't too happy about wearing that outfit." "Well, I wanted to please Mom, and I didn't want to cook in that white dress," he said. "This is more practical." Actually, the apron and cap aren't all that practical, but I suppose they're part of the charm. "Are you trying to be charming?" I asked. "Why not?" he said. "If I need to be Lisa for Mom, I might as well be charming. And pretty. Both seem to be much more important for women than for men." "Beauty and charm are extremely important," I said, "because they help make you popular, and girls will do almost anything to be popular." "In my case," Lisa said, "I'm less worried about being popular than being believable. I don't want people staring at me, wondering if I'm male or female." "It'll take longer than a week to make you totally believable," I said, "but you'll get better and better." "Longer than a week?" he said. "But..." Mom walked into the kitchen. "I heard food being prepared, and I see we have last night's maid to cook for us again." "How lovely to see you looking so pretty, Lisa dear." I fetched a bottle of Marlborough Sauvignon Blanc from the fridge and poured Mom a glass. "Have one yourself," she said. I did. We stood side by side, sipping the citrusy wine and watching Lisa preparing something complicated. She had our largest saucepan out on the stove, a package of rice, a small mound of chopped vegetables, a couple of boneless chicken thighs from the freezer. "What are you making?" I asked. "Paella, but with regular rice instead of Spanish bomba rice," he said. "Following a recipe." "Can we help?" Mom asked. "Thank you, ma'am, but I'm the maid, and it's my job to cook," Lisa said. "I wouldn't want you to deprive you of your job," Mom said, smiling. "Thank you, ma'am," he said, and curtsied to her. Oh my God, he was so cute. He turned away from us and began heating oil in the big saucepan. Mom grabbed the bottle of wine and she and I went out into the living room so that Lisa could focus on cooking. We sat on the couch. "This is so weird," she said. "You mean Lisa in the maid's outfit?" I said. "Yes. What's with her?" "She's overcompensating," I said. "I don't know why. Maybe she feels guilty about something." "Guilty about becoming a girl?" Mom said. "Guilty about making such a fuss this morning, maybe," I said. I refilled our glasses. We emptied and filled them again before Lisa entered the room, curtsied, and announced that dinner was served. We sat down in the dining room. Lisa had set 2 plates. "Where are you eating?" Mom asked. "The maid eats in the kitchen, ma'am," Lisa said. "Don't be ridiculous. Join us and sit across from your sister. Love your costume, but your family, not staff." "Yes, ma'am." And enough of the ma'ams. "I'm Mom." "Yes, Mom." Dinner was delicious saffron-scented rice with vegetables and chicken, and a crunchy brown crust on the bottom. As we ate, Mom told us there would be a get-together for homeschooled students in the area tomorrow night and that she wanted Lisa to come with her. "A chance to start making new friends," she said. Lisa's shoulders seemed to sag. "Okay, Mom. How should I dress?" "Your house dress will do. No need to be fancy." I wonder what the other girls will wear, he said. Pants, probably, Mom said, but I want you always in dresses. Dressing like a lady reminds you to be ladylike. Okay. He raised no objections. After dinner, he cleaned up and retired upstairs without complaint. I looked at Mom. Amazing. The maid costume works. Lisa's more obedient when she wears it, isn't she? Mom said. Too bad I can't have her wear it to the homeschoolers event tomorrow night. I hope you and Lisa meet some nice girls, I said. I hope they have nice parents, she said. I wonder how many single moms manage to homeschool their kids. Most of them have to work. Well, we'll see. Thursday was a day of deportment drills for poor Lisa until late afternoon. We had an early dinner. I cooked a piece of salmon and made a large salad with chopped romaine, cucumbers, bell peppers, red onion, baby tomatoes, carrots, Kalamata olives, and a dressing of olive oil, white wine vinegar, Dijon mustard, and minced garlic. Mom asked me to clean up afterwards, so that she and Lisa could get ready for the homeschooling event. When she put it that way, I had no choice but to say yes. I wasn't going to the event, it was for parents and homeschooled kids only, and I wasn't either of those. I would spend the evening staring at one screen or another. When they came downstairs, I was impressed by what Mom had done. Lisa was adorned with jewelry for the first time. He looked more like a girl than ever, and I loved it. At last, I had a little sister. Now I needed to start cultivating the kind of relationship sisters should have, a deeper relationship than a sister and brother could have. We would share our secrets with each other. Already I knew more about Lisa's feelings than I ever knew about Lee's. How would they change as he began living as a young woman? He would never have periods, unfair. But if he went undetected, the world would treat him the way it treats the rest of us women. Lisa would be in for the leers, gropings, crude language, and physical intimidation that males so often inflict on females. It would be a frequently humbling experience, as I remembered from when I was his age. They left for the homeschooling thing. I spent the evening streaming old episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, a TV series from the turn of the century about a teenage girl fighting the forces of evil. Like all old shows, the weird thing about it was that nobody had an iPhone, and there was no social media. People had to talk to each other. I paused a vampire attack when Mom and Lisa returned. How did it go? I asked. They looked at each other. What did you think, Lisa? Lisa's face was practically glowing. I thought it was great. The kids are nice, and they're mostly girls. They talked to me and treated me like just another girl. I'm pretty sure I passed. I didn't pay too much attention to the parents. Most of the kids have two parents, Mom said. Usually it's the wife who stays home and teaches the kids, and most of the adults there were moms, though a few dads showed up. What happened during the meeting? Introductions first, Mom said. We were the only new family, so they asked lots of questions. There were 7 families with girls at high school level, 3 in Lisa's year. What were their names, dear? Samira, Emma, and Rachel, Lisa said. The group conducted some homeschooling business, something about state regulations, but that didn't take long, Mom said. After that, it was a social hour, with wine for parents, soft drinks for the kids, and lots of chips, salsa and guacamole. Nice people? I asked. The parents I talked to were. Lisa, how were the girls? Friendly, at least on the surface. Cute. I think they spend way more on their personal appearance than I do. They're all Swifties. I may have to start listening to her, just to fit in. Lucky you, I said sarcastically. I was into Japanese girl metal bands, not Tay-Tay. Anyway, we've made the social connection, Mom said. They meet each month at a different family's house, so Lisa and I will start attending. Maybe I'll ask a few of the wives over for tea at some point. Eventually we'll get to host them. Sounds like it went really well, I said. Lisa, what was it like meeting new people? Nerve-wracking, he said. They were checking me out just like I was checking them out, and I have more to hide. I was way too aware of my dress and deportment, and was afraid to say much. I'm sure I came across as painfully shy. I just wanted to convince them I was a girl. Won't you have to tell them about you at some point? It depends on how close we get as friends, but if we get close, yeah, Lisa said. I'd like them to think of me as a girl first, though, before they find out. I shook my head. That's got to be tough. Make them believe one thing, and then tell them the opposite. Sucks to be me, Lisa said. You seem to be handling it better than a few days ago, I said. I'm getting used to the clothes. It's weird. They're completely different from what I wore as a male, but I'm ashamed to admit that I kind of like how they feel. If I'm stuck in them for the moment, I might as well enjoy the difference. Vive la difference, said Mom. She sounded like she'd had a couple glasses of wine, but she'd obviously driven safely, or at least avoided detection. You've survived as Lisa one more time, and tomorrow night, it's sleepover, season 2, I said. Easy peasy. The girls have already seen you in pink satin pajamas. You'll do fine in a dress and a nightgown. I hope so. I want to take a long, hot bath, Lisa said. I need to relax. Good idea, dear, Mom said. Add Epsom salts. And lavender oil. While Lisa bathed, I changed into a nightgown, climbed into bed, and fell asleep, thankful that Lisa's first exposure to homeschooled girls had gone well. Soon, I hoped, he'd be one of them. In a kicky little pleated skirt, a pretty blouse, knee socks, and Mary Jane's, with ribbons in his hair. Friday morning. The day of my sleepover with Lisa and friends. I slept late, missed breakfast, and caught up on my calories when Lisa served street tacos for lunch, with grilled chicken, black beans, and freshly chopped pico de gallo. Mom and I left him to clean up and went shopping to pick up the same menu as last time: frozen pizzas, microwave popcorn, chocolate chip cookie mix, Doritos, and Diet Coke. We needed a movie to watch. I asked Mom. She suggested 27 Dresses, a total chick flick about a frequent bridesmaid who finally becomes a bride. A rom-com with vintage bridesmaid fashions perfect for you and your friends to giggle and snigger over. An hour before the other girls were due to arrive, I dressed and made myself pretty and went to check on Lisa. I found Mom doing his makeup. His white dress hung on a hook on the door. Your church dress? I said. Isn't that a bit fancy? Lisa blushed. Mom wants me to wear it. And what will you wear later? I asked. Deeper blush. My pink baby doll. Poor baby, I said. You're going to be so utterly cute. I want the girls to see the progress Lisa has made, Mom said. Last time, pink pajamas. This time, the white dress, and then the pink chiffon gown and bloomers. If I was a real girl, they'd laugh at me for wearing that, he said. Why so over-the-top feminine? If I have to dress this way, why can't I wear what normal girls wear? You weren't raised as a girl, Mom said. You need to experience what girls go through while growing up. Moms love to dress their daughters in pretty clothes. It takes girls time to develop their own fashion sense. Besides, it's a party. I said. Girls like to dress up for parties. My friends won't laugh at you tonight. You'll look good, and so will they. They know you're coming, and I think they'll glam it up a bit to celebrate. Lisa shrugged and didn't reply. There's one special thing I'd like you to do tonight, Lisa, Mom said. What is it? It'll take you 5 minutes. What is it? I want you to bring the movie snacks upstairs before everyone changes into their nightwear. Okay, he said. Wearing your uniform. My maid's uniform? No, Mom. Please, no. It'll be totally humiliating. Just for long enough to bring the food upstairs, while the girls are still dressed. You make an entrance bearing the goodies. They applaud. Then you can go change into your nightgown while the others change in the TV room, and you can start the movie. I added my 2 cents of encouragement. Please say yes, Lisa. The girls will love you for it. I'll bet Courtney will ask if she can wear it. Madison and Courtney have already seen you in the uniform, so it's only the other girls who'll see it for the first time, Mom said. Oh, all right, Lisa said. If it's really only 5 minutes. You can change into your uniform in the laundry room, Mom said. Come into the kitchen and we'll load you up. Set down the food, curtsy nicely to the girls, and then go up to your room and change into your baby doll. Curtsy? Really? It's what maids do, remember? You're playing a role. Once you're in your nightie, new role, no more curtsies. Why don't you bring all the pieces of your uniform down to the laundry room right now? Don't forget the petticoat. Give me the costume and I'll take it down, so Mom can finish your makeup, I said. He fetched and handed me the dress, apron, hairpiece, and petticoat. I took them down to the laundry room, placed them on the clothes rack, and went back upstairs. Wow, Lisa looked great. Mom had given him an adult's evening look, and his smoky eyes and burgundy lips and nails contrasted with the innocence of his little white dress. We all went downstairs, and it wasn't long before the other girls started to arrive. They all shrieked with delight at the sight of Lisa in a dress, and I was glad Mom had taught him how to do air kisses. All the girls wore fancier dresses than last time. Lisa clearly loved how they looked, and vice versa. I think it made him feel less self-conscious about his attire. The last arrival was a surprise for Lisa. Miss Dubonnet dropped off Madison, Courtney, and a third girl with blonde hair who looked Courtney's age. Hi, Lisa, Courtney said. You know Amelia. I checked with your mom to see if we could bring another one of your friends, and she said yes. He gaped at the new girl. Hi, Lisa, Amelia said. Wow, you're beautiful. Hi, Amelia, he said. Don't worry, Courtney told me about you, and I think what you're doing is very brave, Amelia said. You do? Lisa said. Thanks. Also, you're very attractive, Amelia said. Lisa blushed. So are you. I mean, you as a girl. Amelia leaned over and kissed Lisa gently on the lips. I hope you don't mind, she said. I don't, he said. Lisa and Amelia, sitting in a tree. Courtney chanted. Shut up, Courtney, Madison said. Aha, interesting. It seemed Lisa had a real girlfriend. Didn't Courtney say he had a crush on Amelia last school year? And she thought he was cute as a girl. If she really preferred him that way, maybe Mom and I could enlist her in our effort to keep him in dresses. I didn't know you liked to dress as a girl, Amelia said. Well, it was more my mother's idea. It's complicated. She's going to homeschool me this year, Lisa said. Really? My mom's going to homeschool me, too, Amelia said. Maybe we could study together. She won't let me have boys over, but if she saw a pretty girl in a dress, and if none of my friends tell her who Lisa is. My lips are sealed, Courtney said. Well, if our mothers use the same books or however homeschooling works, we'll try to have some study sessions together, Amelia said. I'd invite you to join us, Courtney, but you're going to East, aren't you? Yeah, Courtney said with a pout. I wish I could homeschool like you, but Mom wants me to be a cheerleader and then run for class president. How totally lame. Why don't you guys join the others in the kitchen? I said. They want to meet Amelia, too. There were 8 of us girls now, including Lisa, 9 if you include Mom. So you can imagine the decibel level of the chatter as we compared dresses and makeup and hair and complimented each other on how pretty we all looked. Lisa seemed slightly dazed by all the interaction and didn't say much. I noticed that while the other girls felt free to touch each other the way women do when they have a conversation, Lisa was keeping his hands to himself. The right way for a male to act in a room full of females, but not the way for a female to act with female friends. I made a mental note to mention it to Mom, just in case Lisa's trial period didn't end tomorrow. Mom slid 2 frozen pizzas into the oven, and the party officially began. We played some games, ate pizza, mixed up a batch of chocolate chip cookies, and put them into bake. Mom whispered something in Lisa's ear before starting to make popcorn in the microwave. The food would be ready in a few minutes. Lisa slipped out of the kitchen into the laundry room and closed the door. Ladies! It's time to get out your sleeping bags in the TV room, Mom announced. We'll bring in the food, and then it'll be time to change into your nightwear. Lisa will change in private. The girls piled out of the kitchen and into the TV room. Mom knocked on the door of the laundry room. Ready? The door opened, and Lisa stepped out in her maid costume. He looked distressed and near tears. You look darling, Mom said. She fussed with his hairpiece and retied his apron straps more tightly in a prettier bow. You go first with the bowls of popcorn, and Violet and I will follow you with the cookies, chips, and soft drinks. This is going to be awful. They'll laugh at me for sure, Lisa said. Mom gave him a hug. I joined them in a group hug. You'll be fine, sis, I said. They'll want to eat you up. That's what I'm afraid of, he said. Don't be afraid, honey, Mom said. Let's go. With a big bowl of popcorn in each hand, Lisa walked into the TV room, with the skirt and petticoat of his maid's uniform swishing prettily around his hips. Mom and I followed with the rest of the menu. The girls shrieked at the sight of Lisa. He stopped short, taken aback. He set the bowls of popcorn on the coffee table and gave the girls a perfect curtsy. They cheered and crowded around him, asking questions, playing with his costume, telling him how cute he was. Courtney asked if she could wear it next, and volunteered Amelia to wear it, too. Listen, everyone, Mom said. I can't make you put away your phones, but please don't post any images or videos of Lisa on social media or anywhere else, and please don't tag them with her name. Strictly private, for your eyes only. That's the best way you can show respect for her. Okay? Girls nodded and tapped on their phones. It was hopeless. Would the maid photo be more embarrassing on social media than the pink pajamas and pigtails photo? Probably. Maybe a miracle would occur and they really would keep the images private. Right. Lisa disappeared upstairs. The girls changed into various styles of nightgowns. I'd asked them not to wear pajamas, which were too manly. Soon afterwards, Lisa returned, wearing his pink chiffon baby doll gown and the matching bloomer-style panties. The girls' avid reaction made him blush. He brought the pieces of the maid costume and offered them to Courtney. Your turn, he said. Courtney squealed and disappeared into the powder room down the hall. She returned a few minutes later, wearing the maid costume. Everyone laughed and cheered for her, especially when she made a curtsy much less practiced than Lisa's. She minced around the room in it for a few minutes before offering it to Amelia, who shyly declined the honor. Courtney changed back into her baby blue waltz-length nightie and handed the maid uniform back to Lisa, who took it upstairs. The girls snuggled into their sleeping bags and nibbled on snacks. Lisa returned, wrapped in a fuzzy blanket over her pink gown. I found the movie 27 Dresses on streaming and started it. It wasn't nearly as clever as Galaxy Quest, but we enjoyed making fun of the ridiculous bridesmaid fashions from the 90s and early aughts. When I saw Lisa yawn, I sent him up to his bedroom so that the rest of us could settle down and gossip about the evening's events. My friends were calling him she and her by now, and I followed along, though in my muddled head I still thought of him as my little brother in a dress. They asked me what would happen to Lisa next, and I had to admit that I didn't know. The trial period that he and Mom had agreed on would end tomorrow. I knew Mom meant to extend Lee's time as Lisa. What would she tell him? Would he agree to remain Lisa, or would he finally say no? By this time tomorrow, would he be wearing a slinky nightie, or would he be back in boxers and a t-shirt? I wanted him to remain Lisa and spend at least the summer in dresses. If Mom talked him into becoming a schoolgirl at home, a thought I found oddly exciting, then who knew how long he'd remain Lisa? What steps might Mom take to make him more feminine? Would he go along with them? We would find out on Saturday, or at least I hoped we would. We did. On Saturday morning, the three of us gathered in the kitchen in our nightgowns, robes, and slippers. Lisa and I made breakfast eggs fried with a diced potato, onions, peppers, and a slice of Canadian bacon, with coffee. As soon as we sat down to eat, Mom cut to the chase. "Well," she said, "I'll call you Lee, even though you're dressed otherwise. What are your thoughts after a week as Lisa?" My brother or sister considered that for a minute. The best thing about it was how friendly the other girls were. It was like I was immediately their sister, too. They could have laughed at me, but didn't. Instead, they encouraged me, tried to make me feel good about myself, even though I was totally embarrassed. What was the worst thing about the week? Mom asked. Dinner with Madison, Courtney, and Ms. Dubonnet, he said. Having to expose myself to them in a dress for the first time, and not just any dress, but a maid's uniform. I've never been so humiliated in my life. I wanted you to find out how it feels to be a submissive female, Mom said. I found out. I didn't like it. But they loved you in your uniform, didn't they? Courtney couldn't wait to try it on. They're girls, he said. They're used to dressing that way. I'm not. Your problem, Lisa, is that you didn't grow up as a girl. You aren't used to the clothes yet. Eventually you will be. Your dresses and lingerie will feel normal, and you'll learn to take pride in your appearance. Can I be perfectly frank with you? Okay, he said. I very much want you to remain Lisa. I love having 2 daughters. I love not having a man in the house. I love how pretty you are when you're dressed properly. I don't want to live with Lee anymore. I want to live with Lisa. He looked scared. What would, Lee do if he didn't want to live as Lisa? At his age, I can't escape legal responsibility for him, she said. Lee can live here, but I want to see as little of him as possible. I won't be able to homeschool him, he'll have to go to East High. Wow, Mom, he said. That's harsh. I really want to be homeschooled. Not as Lee, she said. Only Lisa. Oh, please, Mom. No. Lee will have to go to East High. Lisa can stay at home and study with Amelia and have sleepovers with her girlfriends. His face fell. What if I just did more of the chores? Wouldn't change a thing, Mom said, unless you do them in a dress. And panties. And a bra. As Lisa. My little brother's fingers nervously pressed the chiffon pleats of his pink baby doll nightie. All right, he said quietly. I'll do it. I'll be Lisa. A wave of joy washed over me. I would have a little sister. You will? Mom said. Really? You'll live with me as a girl and wear dresses? Yes, Mom. And I'll homeschool you, and you'll study hard in a cute little schoolgirl's uniform? Yes, Mom. And every now and then, on special occasions, you'll serve my guests in your lovely maid's uniform. He grimaced. Do I really have to? I'm afraid I must insist, dear. It won't be often, but you look so cute in it. Well, all right, if I must. Are there other costumes you want me to wear? I want to buy you a party dress, a very frilly dress with lots of lace and ruffles and ribbons and bows, and a couple of extra petticoats. A Lolita dress. Oh, God, Mom. They're totally over the top. Why? For you to wear when I want you to feel very, very feminine. As punishment? Think of it as a reward instead, Mom said. You're going to be a very girly girl, Lisa. I listened to them in amazement. It was hard to believe my ears. I never expected Lee to actually say yes to our plan to turn him into a girl. Lisa? What changed your mind? I said. You said so many times that you didn't want to be a girl. Well. He looked embarrassed. I told you about maybe wanting to live as Lisa. I'm getting to like Violet's friends and their sisters. It's cool to get to hang out with older girls. I like being with girls more than boys. And I really don't want to face the thugs at East High. Dressing this way still feels weird, but I'm getting used to it. The clothes really are softer and more comfortable and, I guess, more fun than male clothes. Jeans and t-shirts are boring. You're right, Violet. Panties are better than boxers. I'm so impressed to hear you say this, honey. Mom said. Congratulations to Lisa. Let's agree that your trial period is over. From now on, you're my daughter, Lisa, and that's how I'll introduce you to people. This summer, I'll teach you how to move and behave as a girl. By the time I start homeschooling you in September, I expect you to be an attractive, well-behaved young lady. For how long, Mom? My puberty's overdue, but sooner or later my voice will break and I'll start growing hair on my face. You know what'll happen. What do I do then? What do you want to do? Mom said. Do you want to grow up as Lisa or as Lee? I raised my hand, as if I were back in class. Can I say something, Mom? She gave me a curt nod. Lisa, I said. I am so glad you want to become my sister. Life as a girl will be so much better for you. You'll feel safer and you'll make new friends. Mom will help you finish high school early. You'll go to college in person or online and become whatever you want. College nowadays is dominated by women, except in STEM. You'll fit right in. Lee looked at us. I assume all this happens only if I take steps to keep from turning into a man. Right? Right, she said. A decision you and I need to make, but not today. Let's not wait too long, he said. I totally agree, Mom said. Let's be clear about that. If you don't become Lisa, if you choose manhood, I won't want you around. I'll expect you to leave home and make it on your own somehow. I won't pay for Lee to go to college. There's a good chance Lee would end up in a dead-end job making minimum wage. It's not a future I would choose. It's strange to say this, being your mother, but you're so pretty as Lisa that you're sure to attract someone, maybe someone like Amelia. I think you'd have a better life as Lisa the lovely housewife than as Lee the fast food worker. Silence. Lee clearly was digesting our words. I kept quiet, not wanting to interrupt the moment. I have the strange feeling you're right, he finally said. I think I'm ready to leave Lee behind. I'm willing to start taking puberty blockers, or whatever comes first. I don't want to have surgery or anything drastic now, but I don't want my voice to suddenly drop an octave. I'll talk to my endocrinologist, Mom said. There are more resources for boys like you now than there were a few years ago. If, let's say, you wanted to grow your own breasts without removing your boy parts, I think you can do that with the right treatments. For now, I think we just need to shut down your male hormones. That's easily done. Meanwhile, I said, we need to celebrate. A party for my new sister, Lisa. Let's invite all of my friends, and your new homeschooling friends, and have our biggest sleepover ever. Will your sleepover friends tell Lisa's homeschooling friends that Lisa isn't a genetic female? Mom said. I'll tell them not to, I said. It'll be an awesome party, Mom. A dozen girls in here, she said. It'll be a tight squeeze. We don't care, I said. It'll be more fun. Are you game, Lisa? I won't have to wear that white dress again, will I, Mom? Lisa asked. No. Mom smiled. I'm tempted to buy you that Lolita dress, so your friends can see just how girly you can be when you try. Eek. Mom. No. The big sleepover, what Mom insisted on calling Lisa's coming out party, happened 2 weeks later. Fortunately for Lisa, Mom didn't make good on her threat to make him wear a Lolita dress. Instead, he wore a dress I made him try on at Crossdress for Less, a vintage boutique in the alternative part of town. It was a pink rayon shirtwaist house dress with a Peter Pan collar, very 50s in style, but it was his color, and with the right makeup and hair, it would make him look adorable. Mom, he said. When you say coming out as Lisa. Coming out as a girl, no more Lee. Wearing your new dress and then your pink baby doll nightie. But Violet's friends know I'm a boy. They'll tell the homeschool girls. They might, Mom said. It's probably inevitable, no matter what we tell them. As the politicians say, let's get ahead of the story and control how it comes out. This is a change, Mom. I thought we'd try to keep it secret. I had to think it through. Would you rather people find out when one of your new friends thinks the bathroom is empty and walks in on you? She'd scream, the other girls would freak out, they'd tell their parents, chaos. No. We'll come clean at the party. If any of your new friends walk out, they probably aren't friend material anyway. We'll come clean, how? You'll tell them, or I will. Oh, no, Mom. Isn't there another? Violet. You could tell them. I jumped. Me? But. At least we're the same generation, he said. And less embarrassing for me. That's a great idea, Mom said. Violet, you will figure out the best way to tell the other girls how Lee became Lisa. You just don't want to do it, Mom. I said. She smiled. You're right. You do it. And that's how it happened. On the afternoon of my coming out party, Mom, Lisa, and I went to Mom's salon, where they made us beautiful with one disturbing moment. The beautician noticed the faintest beginnings of hair on Lisa's upper lip, waxed it away, and mentioned it to Mom, who told me and said she'd call her endocrinologist on Monday. We changed into our party clothes at home. I took her advice to play sartorial second fiddle to my new sister and dragged my graduation dress out of the closet again. When it was Lisa's turn, Mom brought her some new undergarments to match her vintage dress, granny panties, a bullet bra, a girdle with garters that held up seamed stockings, a fitted slip, 2 knee-length crinoline petticoats, and a new pair of 2-inch black patent heels. My new little sister looked older than her years in her vintage outfit. Mom told Lisa to wait in his bedroom until the party started, so that he could make an entrance. I don't want to make an entrance, Mom. This party is in your honor, young lady, and you will wait here until everyone's ready to meet Lisa. A lady knows how to use a touch of drama to her advantage. My friends, including Amelia, showed up first, all in dresses. Lisa's new homeschooled friends showed up a few minutes later, and they, too, all wore dresses, just as I'd asked. I made the necessary introductions. The homeschoolers, outnumbered, seemed on the shy side, but were friendly and polite. We all gathered in the kitchen, where Mom got the pizzas out of the freezer and started preheating the oven. Before we start cooking, we have a guest of honor tonight, and I'd like you to meet her. Violet will introduce her. Mom went upstairs to fetch Lisa. I thought long and hard about what to say, and decided to dive right in and get it over with. I could feel my face redden. The girl you're about to meet is named Lisa, I said. She used to be my brother, Lee. What? Screeched Rachel, one of the homeschooled girls. I'll explain, I said. Most of you know Lee as a boy, but now that he'll be homeschooled, he's going to live as Lisa from now on. Really? Wow, said my friend Sasha. I know this comes as a surprise to some of you, I said. I hope you'll be supportive. When you see Lisa, I hope you'll understand why he became a she. I heard Lisa's heels click at the foot of the stairs. No. I need to think of Lisa as she now. She's agreed to be a girl. She's my little sister. She entered the kitchen in her pink vintage dress. Peter Pan collar, puff sleeves, slender waist, a full skirt over petticoats. The girls gaped at her. Voices squealed, "Oh my God!" They all clustered around her, exclaiming, touching her, toying with her dress, bombarding her with questions that she did her best to answer. Yes, she was wearing women's underwear. Yes, it was vintage, too. She was actually wearing a girdle and petticoats. Yes, she had regular girls' clothes, too. No, her boobs weren't real. No, she wasn't on hormones. Yes, she was physically still male, but she was going to block male puberty. Yes, she liked her new clothes, though they still felt strange. Boys' clothes were loose on top, tight on the bottom, and girls' dresses were the other way round. No, she didn't do her makeup. Her mother's salon did everything. Why vintage? Asked Amelia. Violet chose it for me, Lisa said. Well, the narrow waist and full skirt flatter your figure, Amelia said, and gave him a kiss. Some of the other girls gave him air kisses. One girl noticeably held back Rachel. I quietly asked her if she was okay with Lisa. My parents wouldn't approve, she said. They don't like gays or trans people. I like Lisa, but I can't have her over unless they think she's a real girl. Does she look like one to you? Yes, Rachel said. It's amazing. I've never known a trans person before. I'm not sure he is, I said. It's complicated. My mom had a bad marriage and doesn't trust men. She didn't want my brother to grow up like his dad, so she convinced him to become a girl. Wow, she said. I don't think my parents could talk my brother into becoming a girl. It wasn't easy with Lisa, I said. He didn't want to wear girls' clothes. But Mom said she would homeschool him only as Lisa. If he wanted to be Lee, he would have to go to East High. Ah, Rachel said. I'm glad I don't have to. Exactly, I said. I was okay there because I was a jock, but he sure isn't. With that hair, he'd be dead meat. No. That's all his hair? I thought it must be a wig. No, it's real. Wow, Rachel said. I hope my parents don't hear about this, or I won't be able to see Lisa again. They use Facebook, and they're plugged in with a socially conservative crowd. I hope so, too, I said, not wanting to lose the acquaintance. Mom put the pizzas in the oven. Ladies, she announced, I'd hate to see pizza sauce on your lovely dresses, so tonight, we'll eat pizza the way Italians do at fancy parties with a knife and fork. When the pizzas came out of the oven, we had to crowd around the kitchen table and overflowed into the dining room to sit down and delicately eat our slices with cutlery. Ooh la la, how fancy! With so many girls, we played only 2 truths and a lie before we all decided it was time to make chocolate chip cookies and watch a movie, another oldie, Bridget Jones' Diary, with a very young-looking Hugh Grant and Colin Firth. We got the cookies into the oven and started making popcorn in the microwave. I grabbed 3 bags of Doritos and Sasha lugged a case of Diet Coke into the TV room. Time for nightgowns, ladies, I said. Would anyone be more comfortable if Lisa changed in her room? I would, Rachel said. So would I, said Samira, and a couple of other girls nodded. Okay, Lisa said, and headed upstairs, returning a few minutes later in her pink chiffon baby doll gown. It drew a chorus of oohs and ahs. We liked the movie better than 27 Dresses at our last sleepover. Renee Zellweger sounded totally British, and I was surprised when Samira told me Renee was actually from Texas. Samira took me aside and said quietly that while Lisa was free to express herself however she wanted, it would be difficult to be comfortable around her. The thing is, I'm lesbian, she told me. I'm just not into boys who dress as girls. No insult intended. I hope you won't mind terribly if I leave early. I'm parked on the street. I'm sorry if you're uncomfortable, but no insult taken, and of course you can leave whenever you like, I said. Samira whispered to Rachel and Emma, grabbed her stuff, and slid out the front door. I was sorry to lose her, but didn't want any of our guests to be uncomfortable around Lisa. I don't think Lisa noticed when Samira left. From then on it was a typical sleepover, except that the other girls let Lisa sleep with us, wrapped in a blanket on the couch, instead of sending her upstairs. I noticed, however, that Amelia unrolled her sleeping bag next to the couch, and wondered if she planned to join Lisa under the blanket in the wee hours. I hoped not, and wondered, with his delayed puberty, how stiff he could get. When I woke up, I saw Amelia in her sleeping bag and Lisa wrapped tightly in her blanket, and set aside my overnight worry. I padded into the kitchen in my nightgown and found Mom starting to assemble breakfast. A loaf of whole wheat bread and a carton of eggs suggested French toast, as did the containers of butter, maple syrup, jam, and cinnamon sugar. After everyone had eaten, changed back into their dresses, and packed up their things, Moms started arriving to take them home. Many air kisses, and one real one, when Amelia took her leave of Lisa. Oh, my! My little sister had a girlfriend. I needed to pump her for details. As the 3 of us cleaned up after breakfast, Mom said, one of the girls left early last night. Was there a problem? Lisa looked at me with a question on her face. That was Samira, I said. She, had a problem being around a male in female clothing. Lisa blushed. What kind of problem? Mom asked. I didn't want to out Samira. She just doesn't care for crossdressers, I said. She said no insult intended. I said none taken. Well, I suppose we won't see Samira at our next social event, Mom said. I mentioned Rachel's situation with her parents. If she invites you to her house, Lisa, you'll have to be completely convincing as a girl, and she won't say anything, I said. It seemed like everyone else was okay with me as Lisa, my sister said. That's because they like you, I said. You were a good sport when you wore Courtney's pink satin pajamas, and when you dressed as a maid for Madison, Courtney and their mom, and when you wore that darling retro dress tonight. Did I look good in it? Lisa asked. Definitely, Mom said. The tradwife look is good on you. What's a tradwife? A married woman who stays at home, does the housework, and obeys her husband, Mom said. Tradwives tend to dress and behave in traditionally feminine ways. I don't want to obey a husband, Lisa said. I don't want a husband at all. Spouse, then. If you married a woman who wanted you to stay home and do all the housework in pretty dresses, would you do as she said? You'd do it in a second, I said. I'll take you back to cross-dress for less. You're a perfect size for. Let's make you look like the lady of the house. Maybe Amelia will grow up to be a rich computer genius and will keep you in the style you deserve. That would be nice, Lisa said. I can't go out in the world as a man, and don't want to. I don't want to go out into the world at all. Maybe it's my destiny to be someone's housewife. Even if it means dressing the part? I asked. Yes, my little sister said. Though I do have one request. What's that? Mom said. I don't want to wear a girdle. Or this pointy bra. I want modern underwear like you have. It's softer and fits better. Mom smiled. Violet, will you take Lisa shopping and make sure she has all the lacy, frilly underthings she needs to be comfortable? It'll be my pleasure, Mom, I said. Lisa has lived at home as a girl ever since. She soon started taking drugs to block her male puberty, and later began taking female hormones to enhance her appearance. She kept her boy parts, but they gradually stopped working, and she told me she would consider having an orchiectomy when she became an adult. The next big step in her feminization was the start of homeschooling in September. Mom insisted that Lisa wear a schoolgirl's uniform to her weekday morning classes. She took Lisa shopping and returned with a week's worth of cute little pleated skirts and white blouses and knee socks. When she started teaching Lisa, she insisted that as a freshman, Lisa should wear her hair in pigtails tied off with ribbons. Lisa complained, of course, but she was totally under Mom's thumb by now, and dutifully submitted to her requirements. Lisa settled into her new life as a schoolgirl in the mornings and a housewife or maid in the afternoons, practicing her deportment and doing most of the cooking and housework for Mom. I loved it because she was able to take on most of my chores. I needed the time because I started classes at State U, still planning to become a dental hygienist. Lisa became good friends with the old sleepover crowd, and with Emma and even Rachel, who reported that her parents hadn't seen anything about Lisa on social media. The group of us shared pictures with each other on a private Discord server, of course, including photos of Lisa, but for a wonder, they never leaked outside our private group. We still had girly parties once a month, dressing up, watching a movie, eating junk food, and pretending we were tweens in our 90s again. I noticed that Lisa's feminine behavior never veered into campiness, maybe because she picked up her gestures from her friends, not drag queens on MeTube. She was a modest, pretty teenage girl with long brown hair and a taste for vintage fashion. A girl who never wore trousers, not even on camping outings. She wore a blouse and skirt only in Mom's schoolroom. The rest of the time, she wore dresses, usually with a petticoat and pretty apron. I once asked her if she missed wearing boys' clothes. Not at all, she said, swishing her skirts. I would hate to be back in boxers so heavy and boring. I love wearing panties now. I've finally got used to wearing a bra to make my dresses fit better, and when my boobs grow in, I'll need a bra for support. I just wish Mom didn't always insist I wear stockings. They're a pain in hot weather. Your legs look great, though, I said. She blushed. Thanks, big sister. You're welcome, little sister. Lisa's BFF was Amelia, of course, and as time passed, it became obvious that they were seriously attracted to each other. It was odd Amelia told me she wasn't lesbian, but she had a very pretty girlfriend with a secret in her panties, and she preferred Lisa that way. Lisa was attracted to females, and Amelia was definitely female. Who knows? Maybe Lisa would grow up to marry Amelia and wear the white gown. There was one more memorable moment in Lisa's feminization, the night she became the girliest girly girl she'd ever been. It was on Halloween. You won't make me go trick-or-treating in my maid's uniform, will you? She asked Mom. No, dear, Mom said. Your maid's uniform is quite pretty, but I have something a little fancier in mind for you tonight. Fancier? Lisa sounded nervous. Oh, yes, Mom said. You're used to dressing like a housewife. Tonight, you're going to be a girl again. In a Lolita costume. Mom. Please, no. Sorry, darling. This is my Halloween trick and you're the treat. Sans costume, I escorted her on a tour of the neighborhood in which she received far too much candy. Life calmed down after that, and Lisa resumed her role as Mom's homeschool pupil and part-time housekeeper in her cute little uniforms and vintage dresses. Our circle of sleepover friends contracted as the girls my age moved on to college or looking for jobs. Mom and I were pleased when Lisa managed to replace it with a smaller circle of girlfriends her age, especially Amelia, who continued to show every sign of returning Lisa's teenage crush. They had monthly sleepovers, often but not always at our house, and while Mom always made sure they were chaperoned, I was relieved when Lisa started hormone therapy to cure his unfortunate maleness. I caught the two lovebirds snogging in Lisa's room one night when Mom was out, but as far as I could tell, they never went beyond that. I was sure Lisa would learn how to please Amelia the ways girls liked it when they were old enough for that, which would probably be sooner than Mom or I would prefer. The best news was that Mom seemed to emerge from her depression, or PTSD or whatever it was, as a healthier and happier woman. She rebuilt her social life by making friends with the other homeschooling and stay-at-home moms in our neighborhood. As it happened, her friends' households and daughters also provided a supportive environment for Lisa as Mom's new daughter and my new sister made her adolescent journey towards a feminine future. The transformation of Lee into Lisa allowed our mother to live comfortably with two daughters who would develop their own sisterly relationship. Mom now could live a life free of fear, and as Lisa became more secure in her identity, so would she and so would I. A few months ago, I feared our family life was about to end, but now it was better, more intimate, more satisfying, more loving than ever.